There's something beautiful about the way grace works. It doesn't wait for perfection. It meets you right where you are, weary, messy, imperfect, and breathes new life into your soul. Tonight, as you settle into rest, let grace do what only grace can do. Let it restore you. Let it remind you that no matter how your day unfolded, you are still deeply loved, still covered by mercy, still being renewed from the inside out. Maybe today left you feeling drained, burdened, or disappointed. Maybe you spoke words you wish you hadn't, or carried worries that wore you thin. But grace whispers softly, you are forgiven. You are free. It doesn't keep a record of your wrongs or measure your worth by your mistakes. Grace looks at you through the eyes of love, the same love that led Jesus to the cross so that you could live in freedom. That love still reaches for you tonight, not with judgment, but with kindness that heals. Close your eyes and take a slow breath. Feel the weight of the day begin to lift. Grace is like a gentle stream, washing over the parts of your heart that feel tired or broken. It refreshes what was dry, softens what was hardened, renews what was lost. You don't have to earn it. You simply receive it. God's grace is His gift to you, endless, unearned, and overflowing as you rest. Remember that grace is not only about forgiveness, it's also about renewal. It gives you the strength to begin again, to rise tomorrow with hope, to keep walking even when you feel weak. His word promises, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. That means you don't have to have it all together. You don't have to be strong all the time. His grace fills the spaces where you fall short. Let that truth sink deep into your soul. You were not defined by your failures, but by His faithfulness. You are not bound by your past, but renewed by His promise. Every breath you take tonight is a reminder of His mercy steady, yet, and sure. So rest now. Let His grace renew your heart. Let it fill you with peace, with strength, with gentle hope for a new day. When morning comes, you'll rise not in your own power, but in His. If this reflection has renewed your spirit, take a moment to subscribe and share this space with someone who needs to remember the beauty of God's grace. Together, let's rest in the truth that His mercies are new every morning and that grace is enough. I invite you to slow down with me. Come as you are. Let the day settle. Find a place to rest. Dim the lights if you can. Allow the body to become a little heavier in the chair or bed. Let the hands loosen. Let the shoulders drop. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out more slowly. I speak in a calm voice. I ask for a few minutes of quiet. No need to fix anything right now. No need to answer. Just listen. This time is for peace. This time is for softening fear and finding rest. Place a hand where it feels steady. That gentle pressure can remind the heart of a slow, steady rhythm. Feel the rise of breath. Notice the cool of the nostrils. Notice warmth in the chest. When the mind chases thoughts, bring attention back to the breath. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for a moment. Breathe out for 6 counts. Repeat. Each breath tells the body it is safe to slow. I know fear does not always leave on command. It comes quietly and loudly. It sits in the mind as questions. It tightens the chest as if the world is closing in. Fear can speak of what might happen. Fear can paint scenes that never come true. Tonight, that voice does not get the last word. Hear me now. There is a promise that walks with the night. It does not shout. It settles. Its name is peace. This peace is steady as a tide. It is not the same as leaving all trouble behind. It is the calm that comes into the middle of trouble. It is the steady hand when hands feel shaky. I will read scripture slowly. I will not hurry. Let each sentence rest on the ear. Let each phrase sink into the bones. If the eyes close, that is fine. If the mind wanders, that is fine. Return when you can. There is no failure here. Listen to this thought. God keeps the mind steady when we fix our thoughts on what is true and loving. When anxiety rises, bring to mind what is gentle and faithful. Think of what is real. Let that truth be a lamp in the small, dark corners. Picture a quiet house at night. Wind moves leaves, and the roof holds. The house does not solve every problem outside. It simply offers shelter. The same way, the promise I speak of tonight does not erase storms. It makes a presence felt in the midst of them. It is a shelter that keeps breathing with you. Resting in this peace begins with offering. Offer the worries you hold. Imagine their shapes in your hands. Gently open the palms. Let them fall like autumn leaves. No sudden toss. No clutching again. Just open and let go. This offering is simple. It is a small act of trust. I will say words from the Bible in a soft way. I will speak them as comfort. Hear them not as an argument, but as a quiet lamp. The words tell of a life where nerves can be eased. They tell of a love that holds at night. When the mind wants to race, let these words act like a warm blanket. Think of a shepherd who walks in the night. The shepherd knows each sheep. When a lamb is afraid, the voice calls it by name. The sheep know the voice. They come to rest. In the same way, the voice of God comes close. It is not distant. It knows your name. It calls you to rest. Consider the image of waters that are still. The surface smooths when there is no wind. The mirror of water shows the sky. In the stillness there is clarity. Worry usually stirs the water. The promise of peace stills the surface. It returns sight to the heart. When fear speaks of lack, remember the steady provision spoken in Scripture. Needs meet in unexpected ways. Small kindnesses happen in shadows. Help arrives in slow, careful steps. Sometimes the answer is not the removal of every problem. Sometimes the answer is a small, warm presence that holds through the night. There is a call to trust that does not demand perfect faith. It asks only for a hand to lift. Even fragile trust is noticed. A faint whisper of reliance is enough to invite peace. Do not wait for belief to be complete. Start with a small openness. Let that be the seed. I will read words that remind us to turn anxious thoughts into prayer. When worry comes, fold it into a simple sentence. Speak it as a child might speak. Tell God of the fear. Ask for help to rest. There is no long lecture needed. A short, honest word is enough. Think of a lamp set in a dark room. It does not need to banish the night. It simply gives a place to look. Prayer is like that light. It changes the space enough for calm to enter. Keep the lamp close. Let its glow be the habit of the heart. Remember that peace often comes through small acts. A warm drink, a slow walk, a short song hummed to the breath, a moment to name one thing that went well today. These small anchors help steady the mind. They are not magic. They are gentle practices that invite rest. I invite a gentle confession now, not words said aloud, a soft thought. The day carried strain. The hands did what they could. Forgive the small mistakes. Let the mind soften about what could not be changed. Mercy reaches even the tired places. Hold that mercy close. Be aware of what the body needs. Unclench the jaw. Soften the belly. Let the toes curl comfortably. Tension in one spot can make the whole frame uneasy. Sweep attention from head to toe. Release any tightness found. With each release, imagine a soft wave moving through the body, carrying peace with it. The night can feel very large. It stretches beyond one's small worries. Yet the promise I speak of is larger. Still, it reaches past the noise. It covers the edges of fear. This promise is not loud. It is steady as the slow tick of a clock. It keeps time, and it keeps company when thoughts rush in. Name them without judgment. Place a label and let them pass. This practice creates space. In the space, peace moves in. Do not chase the thoughts. Observe them like clouds. Let them drift. Behind the clouds, the sky is still there. If sleep does not come quickly, that is okay. Do not make sleep another task. Rest can be present even awake. Rest your eyes. Keep breathing slowly. Let the heartbeat become a steady metronome. Listen to the rhythm. Let it be a reminder of life that continues and cares for you. I will speak a short prayer now. It is not long. It is not formal. It is a simple offering. Quiet the mind and hear this as a soft promise. Peace that surpasses frantic thoughts is here. Mercy meets the night. Hope holds the small breath. Let those words settle in. As I end this invitation, prepare to hear Scripture read slowly in the next moments. Each phrase will be spoken with space. Each sentence will have quiet after it. If the eyes close, that is welcome. If the hands rest, that is welcome. Carry this image with you, a lamp and a shelter and a steady hand. Keep the breath slow. Keep the mind gentle. Let the heart feel the presence that does not rush. Stay with me for a few more minutes. Let the calm deepen slowly. Tonight you are invited to rest in perfect peace. The promise will walk with you into sleep if you let it. Let go now. Let the night do its part. When the reading begins, listen as if someone very near speaks. Allow the voice to draw you closer to rest. I will read now, slowly, and I will leave space for each line to sink in. The room is quiet. The breath is slow. Rest begins. I take a quiet moment now to shape the space we share. I move slowly. My hands make soft adjustments. A small lamp glows. Its light is warm, not bright. The room wears shadows like a soft shawl. Curtains fall the way they always do. The hush feels like something that can be entered. I ask for a few small comforts. A blanket can rest over the knees. A pillow beneath the head can lift just enough. If the feet feel cold, slide on a pair of socks. If the jaw is tight, soften it with a little awareness. These are small acts of kindness toward the body. They tell the nervous system it is noticed. Turn the phone to silence. Let the screen stay dark. Notifications wait. This moment belongs to the quiet. If a clock ticks loudly, move it farther away. If music is helpful, choose something very soft and slow. Natural sound is gentle, too distant rain. A fan at low speed. Leaves against glass. Keep the volume low enough that nothing pulls at attention. Choose a position that feels like welcome. Some prefer sitting upright, back supported by cushions. Some prefer lying down, arms by the side or one hand resting over the heart. If holding a small object brings comfort, a smooth stone or a rosary of gentle beads can stay in the palm. The body will relax more readily when it does not need to hold on. I place the Bible nearby on a surface within reach. The cover rests face up. A bookmark waits beside the page. I do this to remind you that the words are near, not distant. The Bible will not be waved around. It will be opened with care. My voice will invite those pages to speak in a way that asks nothing from the mind but to receive. Before I begin to read, I make a simple promise about how the words will come. Pacing is slow. Each phrase carries space after it. The silence between lines is not empty. It is part of the reading. Allow time for the echo of a sentence to settle. If a line lands on a heart, let that feeling rest there for a moment. When I read, I do not race. I do not underline complexity. The goal is not to win an argument. The aim is comfort. Passages chosen are gentle. They speak of steady love, of mercy, of rest. They are the kind of words that breathe with the body and ease the mind. I invite you to let the eyes close, if it helps, for those who prefer to follow the text. Keep the page soft and the light dim. Reading along is fine. Closing the eyes is fine. Neither is better. Both are ways of receiving the calm. If thoughts arrive, treat them like visitors at a door. Greet them briefly and let them pass. No need for long conversations. Notice their presence. Redirect the attention gently to the voice or to the feeling of support beneath the shoulder blades. Let the room hold the sound and keep it slow. There will be moments of stillness between readings. In those spaces, a line may repeat itself inside the mind. That repetition is a friend, not a disturbance. Allow one phrase to linger. Let it unfold like a breath that lengthens without force. This is how a sentence becomes a small shelter in the chest. I will read parts of Psalms, short gospel passages, and simple promises that speak of near kindness. I choose words that meet the night. The selection favors images of steady presence rather than complex doctrines. Each passage acts like a soft lamp, enough to show the next step without banishing the darkness. Mercy and hope are the thread through every piece. There is no need to decide whether to believe everything at once. Gentle listening is the first courage. Allow the text to touch a tired part. Let it rest on a place that holds worry. Sometimes a single line is enough to change how a hand feels on a blanket. Small changes are real. Before the reading starts, I offer a brief invitation. If these moments feel helpful, consider subscribing to this channel so the invitation can come again. A soft click keeps this steady voice nearby. If a certain passage settles you, leave a short comment. Tell me what brought calm tonight. That small sharing helps others find the same rest. If you know someone wrestling with a hard evening, share this recording. Passing calm along is a quiet kindness. This invitation is gentle. There is no pressure. The heart knows when to reach. If the phone stays off and the lamp stays low, you are already choosing well. If the hand reaches for the subscribe button, do it as a small act of hope for more slow nights. Now notice the space around the ribs. Let that space widen just a little. If it helps, place a hand there. The warmth of a palm can remind the nervous system that someone notices. Let muscles loosen in a way that does not demand effort. Softening is an act of trust in a rhythm that already holds. I keep the tone simple as I read. I do not explain every phrase. Explanations can wake the mind. Instead, I let words stand on their own. When a sentence falls, allow it to rest. The silence that follows is the place where meaning can drift into the edges of the day and settle. Sometimes the eyes will close and a picture will come. Let images be like slow film. Do not hurry them. A quiet field, a steady stream. A lamp in a small room, these images help the words live in the body. If no image comes, that is fine. Presence does not need scenery. If sleep arrives before the reading finishes, that is most welcome. The goal is rest, not performance. Allow the voice to continue softly, if it helps to keep company with sleep. If you wake later and return, the words will be here again, patient and unhurried. Before I open the Bible, take a final practical step. Adjust the blanket, shift the pillow, let the jaw soften, uncross the legs if they are tense. Small physical changes can make a big difference in how sound is received. Make the body as comfortable as possible without making it rigid. Now, for a brief moment, name one small mercy from today. It need not be grand. A cup that held warmth, a kind word in passing, a single breath that felt quiet. Let that memory be like a pebble placed in the palm, a small weight that anchors the hand. I will read in a slow cadence. Each line will carry space to rest. I will not rush. The pauses are meant to breathe with you. The rhythm resembles a small, steady tide approach. Touch. Withdraw. In that rhythm, peace moves quietly. When I turn the page, listen as if someone sits nearby and offers a small lamp. The voice will be steady and close. There is no lesson to finish. There is only company for the night. If you would like to stay connected after this session, the subscribe button keeps this voice near. A short comment helps shape future evenings. Sharing this gently spreads the chance for rest. These asks are simple. They are also a way for mercy to move beyond this room. I take a breath now. The Bible lies open. The lamp is soft. The blanket rests lightly. The room waits. When I begin to read, receive each line as a small offering. Let the words be a steady place to rest the mind. Now I open the Bible, and I begin. I settle into the quiet again. A long breath comes in. I let it go slowly. The Bible lies open. I turn a small page with gentle fingers. My voice is low. Each word lands soft. I read Psalm 4, 8 inches a slow cadence. I let the line rest between the ear and the heart. The words come like this: in peace, I lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. I say it once. I say it again. More slowly. Each syllable has space. Let it sit on the ear. Let it sink into the chest. That sentence is a small harbor. It speaks of lying down. It speaks of sleep. It speaks of safety. None of those words promise a sudden fixing of every worry. The promise is gentler. It says a presence watches. It says watching is enough to invite rest. Fear appears in many shapes. Tonight, some fear is the thin, bright kind. It wakes at 2 a.m. and sharpens like a thought cut. Other fear is heavy and dull. It sits low in the belly. Some anxiety pulls at the future. It sketches worst-case scenes. Sometimes fear is a memory that replays with new details. All of those are real. I name them plainly. Naming makes them less secret. It makes the space between them and rest larger. I remember nights when the mind refuses sleep. Lists play like a restless film. The next day's needs crowd the dark. Bills. Relationship tensions. The ache of unanswered prayers. These press like hands at the chest. Muscle tightens at the shoulders. The jaw holds. The breath shortens. Those are physical facts. I do not pretend otherwise. When fear comes, I meet it with a steady attention. I do not chase the thought. I do not try to solve every image. Instead, I offer a small, honest sentence. It can be as simple as this: I am afraid. Or this: please help me rest. Short sentences are enough. They do not demand grand faith. They are the shape of a hand lifted. Trust is not the opposite of fear. Trust can live beside fear. It is a choice I return to. I choose to remember the line I just read. I repeat it slowly and let its meaning press against the tight places. In peace, I lie down and sleep. Those words are not a command for the body to obey. They are an invitation. A watching presence opens a space where the body can relax. I picture a watchful protector on the threshold of the house. The protector is not distant. It is not an abstract idea. It sits at the edge of awareness. steady as breathing. It listens. It notices every small sound. This image is simple. It softens the mind. It does not banish the night. It makes room inside the night. Sometimes the mind protests. It asks for proofs, for signs. Those demands can wake the worry again. I answer them with small practices. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. The body notices the rhythm. Muscles loosen. The heart slows a little. This does not erase the fear. It changes how the fear sits in the frame of the body. That change helps trust find a foothold. I use the hands as a place to store the worry for a moment. Palms rest over the sternum. The warmth there reminds the nervous system that the body is noticed. Fingers splay gently. This simple contact tells the mind it is safe to pause. The action is a tiny ritual. Rituals do not need to be ornate. They only need to be consistent. Repetition makes trust feel familiar. I keep the images plain. A lamp in a small, dark room. A shepherd walking near the flock. A lighthouse far off. Its light steady. These images do not promise an absence of storms. They promise company. Company is often enough. It shifts the posture. It allows the head to lean down. Mercy feels like a soft hand at the shoulder. It can arrive in small ways. A friend's text. A warm cup set down beside the bed. A memory of a small kindness that arrived at just the right time. These are not dramatic rescues. They are the ordinary ways safety is made real. I also reflect on times when trust ebbed slowly. There are nights when a memory becomes a tide. It pulls with the rhythm of an old hurt. On those nights, the line from the psalm feels farther away. I do not scold myself. Instead, I return to the practice. I offer a single phrase into the dark. Say the name of the worry. Say, help me rest. The phrase is a small bridge. Prayer in this hour is not a lecture. It is a simple handing over. The words can be a whisper or a single thought. I place fears into that whisper. I imagine them as leaves set on a slow river. The current is gentle. It carries the leaves without hurry. This image helps the mind let go of clinging. Trust grows in small increments. A single breath that slows, a shoulder that softens. A repeated phrase that lands in the chest like a pebble and causes a widening. That widening is the first place. Sleep can move in. It does not always come fast. Sometimes rest is a slow opening, like a bud that finally gives way to light. I avoid heavy theology here. These moments are not for debate. They are for mercy. The language used tonight is simple, so the ear can receive it. Promise. Presence. Watching. These words do not require complex explanation. They require a soft willingness to accept them. One small time at a time. I remind myself that night often magnifies things. Shadows look larger beneath lamplight. The mind can mistake size for danger. The psalm speaks into that distortion. It says, safety is not measured by the absence of shadow. Safety is measured by the nearness of a steady presence. That presence watches over the small house of the heart. If sleep resists, I return to a short rhythm of gratitude. I name one small thing that went well. A meal tasted. a kind look, a moment of quiet in the day. These small notes are anchors. They do not solve everything. They change the composition of the evening. They give the mind a softer set of images to return to. Belief can be thin. Doubt can be close at hand. Both can be present in the same breath. That is okay. The psalm does not call for perfect faith. It calls for rest. Even feeble trust is enough to rest on. I let that be permission to be small and honest. I speak aloud a short blessing to myself. It is simple rest now. The voice slows with the sentence. The body follows. The hands loosen. Muscles around the eyes soften. The mind finds a lighter tempo. This tiny blessing acts like a baton passed from will to surrender. I listen for the quiet that follows. Silence keeps its own tempo. It is patient. It does not push. The silence and the psalm line create a kind of cradle. In that cradle, sleep can find a way. I do not force it. I let it arrive as it comes. Before the eyes close for good. I offer one more thing. I imagine the night as a large, soft tent. The tent holds sound. It keeps the edges of worry from blowing in. Inside the tent, there is a small lamp of promise. It is not bright enough to reveal every detail. It is bright enough to show the next breath. That suffices. Tonight, I choose to let the watching presence be enough. I lie down with the psalm line in my ears. In peace, I lie down and sleep. Safety dwells here. The heartbeat is steady. The breath moves slow. Fear remains. But it is no longer in charge. If sleep comes now, welcome it. If it comes slowly, stay with the rhythm. Repeat the psalm line when the mind wanders. Let the phrase be like a soft rope to hold on to in the dark. I will keep this voice nearby as the rest arrives. I will read again if it helps. For now, rest with the simple truth that watching can be a kind of keeping. Trust that a presence near the threshold is tending the house. Surrender one more small worry into the hands of that presence. Breathe. Lie down. Sleep. When it comes, will be gentle. When the next moments of the night arrive, I will still be here. I will speak in a low voice. I will give space between lines. For now, allow the psalm to be the last thing carried into the dark. Let it hold a thought in peace. I lie down and sleep. For you make me dwell in safety. Let that hold you until sleep takes the rest. I settle with you again. The room is still. The breath is slow. I keep my voice low. Tonight we turn toward forgiveness. We meet past mistakes with gentle care. This is not a session for blame. It is a small space for mercy and rest. Begin by making the body comfortable. Adjust the blanket. Rest the hands where they feel steady. Close the eyes, if that is helpful. Let the jaw soften. Let the belly relax. A calm body receives softer words. I invite a small inward question. What weighs on the heart from earlier days? Name one regret. Not a least. Just one memory that comes to the surface. Let it arrive without hurry. See it as something you hold for a moment. Notice how the chest responds. Notice where the mind tightens. These are signals, not judgments. When a memory appears, Keep it plain. Describe it in one sentence. Do not argue with it. Do not add blame, as if it must be worse to matter. Say to yourself what happened. As if reading a sentence in a book, this naming is an act of clarity. It takes the glare off shame and places the moment in a frame that can be touched and then released. Feelings come with the memory. They might be sadness, embarrassment, regret, or even anger. Give each feeling a place inside the body. If the throat tightens, notice that. If the hands curl, notice that. I invite you not to fix the feeling. Let it sit like a small guest. Observe it with kindness. Now I place a phrase for trust near us. I speak Isaiah 41:10 slowly. With space after each phrase. Do not hurry the listening. Do not make this a test of belief. Receive it as a soft assurance. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I strengthen you. I help you. I uphold you with my righteous right hand. Say the lines gently in your mind. Let each phrase touch a tight place. The words are not a remedy that erases memory. They are a steady hand beside the hurt. Let that steadiness be the ground beneath the regret. Now, I offer a simple act to move the memory into a new frame. Imagine holding the regret in an open palm. See its color and shape. If an image comes, breathe toward it. On an out-breath, place the memory into the hand of the watching presence. Picture the hand, taking it without needing details. You do not have to pass every why. You only have to hand it over. If the act of handing seems too much, try another doorway. Speak a short sentence inwardly. Help me let go, or I choose mercy now. These short lines are enough. They do not demand eloquence. They do not require perfect faith. They are like dropping a stone into a pond. The ripple moves, even when the stone is small. Forgiving oneself can feel oddly like a second wound. Shame sometimes says that forgiveness must be earned. It tells stories of payment and unending penance. Tonight, reject that long tale. For a while, accept that mercy often begins as a simple allowance. I am not perfect. I am still held. This allowance is not an excuse for harm. It is a door to healing, so harm can be faced honestly without becoming a prison. Consider a small ritual to mark this movement. Take a piece of paper if it is near. Write a single line about the regret. Fold the paper gently. If you like, place it under a pillow or a lamp. If paper is not available, fold the hands over the sternum and breathe toward that place. Let the folding be a symbol. Rituals give the mind a visible sign that a change has been made. The change is sometimes internal, but the symbol helps the heart accept it. Now think of forgiveness toward others. Some hurts came from people who did not mean well. Some came from careless words. Other wounds came from abuse or serious harm. Forgiveness does not pretend the wrong did not happen. It simply chooses not to let pain be the place where the soul remains forever. Forgiveness can be a boundary and a release at once. It can hold truth and let go of the corrosive replay. If the thought of forgiving someone is too raw, Start smaller. Pray for the capacity to forgive rather than forcing the act. Ask silently for strength to let the wound rest beside you without reopening. Say a tiny sentence, "Help me to release." The sentiment is delicate. It plants a seed. I remind us that forgiveness often moves slowly. It may come in tiny shifts, an easier moment, a memory that no longer stings as sharply. That is progress. Notice those small changes. They are the measurements of mercy unfolding. There are times when forgiveness toward another cannot safely be enacted in relationship. Safety matters. Forgiveness is not a command to return to harmful patterns. It can be a quiet, letting go of the burden inside while still keeping wise distance. Mercy and prudence can live together. Return to the breath between each movement. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold 2. Breathe out 6. Each breath washes the heart with a small rhythm. Use the hands as anchors. Lightly place a hand over the heart. Let warmth be the reminder that the body holds you through the process. I speak a brief encouragement now. If guilt or regret threatens to define you, remember one simple truth: grace appears in slow ways. It may come as a friend's kind remark. It may come as a sunrise that nudges perspective. It may come as a sentence from Scripture that lands when needed. Pay attention to these small arrivals. They are the textures of mercy. If memories persist, set them down and name one practical next step. Is there a small amends that can be offered? A short apology by message? A written note? A change in habit where repair is possible and safe? Small concrete acts matter. Where repair is not possible, offer the desire to repair. That desire is not empty. It is a real movement toward wholeness. I keep the tone simple because exhaustion does not need complexity. Mercy is often not loud. It is patient. Let the patient mercy gather around the place that aches. Imagine a soft cloth laid over the wound. The cloth does not erase the scar instantly. It soothes the edges. If forgiveness towards oneself feels impossible tonight, begin with acceptance. Say, "I am learning," or "I am trying," or simply "help me." These phrases do not require full resolution. They ask only for honest companionship with the process. I will read a short passage now as a small blessing over this moment. Hear it as a reassurance, not a test. Receive it slowly. Come close to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Allow that promise to land. Rest is not a reward for perfection. Rest is a mercy offered to weary hearts. Let that mercy touch the place of regret and loosen its grip. Create a final image for tonight. Picture a slow river at dusk. Place your regret on a leaf. Set the leaf on the water. Watch it float toward a larger current. You do not have to watch it forever. You can close your eyes and trust the movement. The current may not erase every detail. It will transform the burden by moving it away from the center of the mind. As a small closing action, breathe in the idea of mercy. Breathe out the insistence of perfection. Let the shoulders drop. Let the face soften. Repeat a single short sentence. In the mind, I accept mercy. Say it once. Say it again if the mind wanders. Keep the words plain and steady. Tonight the intention is to leave one regret in new hands, not because the past is unimportant, because the present needs space to breathe. Mercy makes that space. Hope fills it slowly. If sleep comes, welcome it. If wakefulness lingers, rest with small practices already learned. Return to the breath. Repeat Isaiah gently in the mind. Let the psalm be a companion. Keep the ritual simple. Fold the hands. Breathe. And imagine a leaf on the river. Before I close this part, remember that forgiveness is not a finish line to dash toward. It is a path that moves by small steps. Tonight you take one step. That is enough. Lie down comfortably now. Let the house of the body become still. Hold the thought that a presence walks with you. Allow mercy to tuck around the edges of the night. I will stay nearby. I will read softly again when you are ready. For now, rest in the quiet assurance that forgiveness can begin in the space of a single breath. I come back to this quiet with the same calm hands. The lamp remains low. The Bible rests open. The evening wants a space to breathe. Tonight, the turn is toward grace. The subject is forgiveness. The aim is gentle. The voice is steady. Before a story begins, I read a short passage slowly. Let each phrase rest. Hear the cadence. Let my voice give room. Be kind to one another. Be tender-hearted. Forgive one another, as God in Christ forgave you. Say the phrases softly in the mind. Let them sink like a slow footfall on familiar stairs. They are not a demand to accomplish perfect virtue. They are a simple map back to a way of living that lightens the load. A memory comes to mind. It is not dramatic. It is ordinary. And that is why it matters. A close friend and I worked together for years, shared evenings over coffee, shared small projects, shared a laugh that felt like an inside light. Then one season, decisions were made that hurt. The hurt was not public. It lived in quiet betrayals, in neglected promises, in words left unsaid until they became weighty. The first reaction is sharp. The chest tightens. The breath shortens. A steady mind wants answers. A tired heart wants protection. The impulse to hold the hurt close is strong. It feels like a shelter. It feels, at first, like safety. Time passes. The body keeps moving. Life continues with its small duties and soft routines. Yet the wound shapes the days. A movie that used to feel warm now brushes an edge. A mutual friend asks about plans, and the thought of the friend in question runs like a current under the surface. All this is honest. Naming it out loud is the first gentle step. Learning to forgive feels like learning a craft. It begins in small practices. I start by looking closely at what forgiveness is not. It is not forgetting that something happened. It is not pretending there was no pain. It is not a quick erasure of boundaries. It is not condoning harm. It is none of those. Then I try to learn what forgiveness can be. It is a decision to stop measuring my worth by the wound. It is a choice to stop carrying the wound like a constant report. It is a release that does not require reconciliation. It is, most of all, a receiving of grace that came earlier. and made room for this night. A pattern helps. I sit with the memory in quiet. I breathe toward it. I trace the edges of the feeling with curiosity rather than accusation. Where does shame live in the body? Where does anger tighten? Where does the memory make the jaw clench? This mapping is not to linger in suffering, but to know its shape enough to hold it. Then I bring to mind the simple truth read earlier. Imagine the kindness offered in a familiar way. Imagine a presence that has already forgiven 1,000 small failures. This is not a theological lecture. It is a practical shelter. It changes the weather inside. When the mind must replay the hurt, the presence anchors the attention back to mercy. A specific moment stands out. The friend and I meet again in a small room that smells faintly of tea. The meeting happens after months of distance. My expectation is measured. The heart wants proof. The hands want to test gestures with caution. The scene is unremarkable. That is a mercy. There is no grand reconciliation scene. There is only two people who share the same small table. Words are few. The friend looks tired. The voice is humble. There is an offering of apology. Plain and sparse. The apology is not theatrical. It is quiet and honest. It does not fix everything. It does. However, open a crack where fresh air can enter. That small breath is the beginning of repair. What shifts most is not a single sentence, but a slow crossing of days. An invitation to a shared walk, a short message wishing well on a small birthday, a recovered trust in a small task. These are not fireworks. They are slow stitches made by consistent small acts. Each stitch does not erase the cut. Each one holds edges so that the whole skin can mend in time. There are nights when hurt flares again. That is expected. Progress is not linear. The body remembers. Old patterns want to reassert themselves. On those nights, I return to a quiet ritual. Place a hand over the sternum. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold a moment. Exhale for 6. Each breath is a small incarnate practice of receiving mercy. The heart notices. The muscles let go. I learn, too, that forgiveness often begins internally. It is first a letting go of the narrative that defines worth by the wound. It is the choice to speak differently to the inner voice, instead of rehearsing the betrayal like a script. The inner voice is offered a new sentence. I am not my hurt. This new sentence is not a denial of pain. It is a reorientation of identity toward what is steady and alive. Grace shapes the movement. I have known grace as a gift received early in the journey. It is not earned. It arrives, even when the hands are still dirty from mistakes. That experience of being forgiven opens the capacity to forgive. It is a mirror. When mercy was extended to me in an unexpected season, the body learned to trust that mercy. That trust becomes the model for extending mercy to others. A small ritual helps make this real. I take a piece of blank paper and write a short sentence about the hurt, not a long essay. Just a line. Fold it slowly. Place it in a drawer or a box. The act is not magical. It is symbolic. It marks a transfer. The body recognizes the movement. The mind accepts a new order. Symbols do this work gently and well. There are times when forgiveness cannot mean restoration of friendship. If harm continues, or safety is at risk, holding distance is wise. Forgiveness and prudence are not enemies. Forgiveness frees the inner life. Prudence keeps the outer life safe. Both can exist side by side like two hands that do different tasks. I also learn from the friends and family who witness the process. Kind voices that do not rush the work become essential. A sister who simply sits, a neighbor who sends a short note, a mentor who says, "You do not have to carry it alone." These small presences mirror the larger mercy I was taught to receive. They help the heart learn to live in a different register. The story of forgiving the close friend is not tidy. It continues. Some days are lighter. Some days the scar prickles. The practice is steady. The promise behind the practice is steady as well. The promise does not erase all pain. It teaches how pain can be carried without defining the whole life. I remember reading the verse again. Months later, when the memory felt thin enough to touch without flinching, the words settled differently now. Not as a command, but as a map. Be kind to one another. Be tender-hearted. Forgive one another. As God in Christ forgave you, the echo of forgiveness received becomes a model for the forgiveness offered. That movement into mercy affects more than the relationship with the friend. It alters how the day begins. Morning chores feel lighter. The hands do not clamp as fiercely. The sleep that once was shallow grows steadier. Little things like listening without immediate defense become possible. The inner climate changes slowly, but undeniably. If thoughts return tonight about past hurts, let them come kindly. Acknowledge the memory with one sentence. Breathe, and then return to a small practice that anchors the heart. Place the palm against the sternum. Say in the mind a short phrase, "I choose mercy now." The voice need not be loud. The act is simple. End with a small image that is new for the night. Picture a worn bench under a quiet sky. Two people sit with distance between them at first. Or a team. The space narrows by a few inches. No rush. No drama. Just two steady breaths beside one another. That is a kind of reconciliation. It is quiet and durable. Tonight, let the idea of grace rest on the chest like a soft weight. It does not push. It only suggests that the heart can hold both the wound and the way forward. Let the breath slow around that thought. When sleep comes, welcome it. If wakefulness continues, return to the verse and the simple breathing practice until the eyes become heavy. I will stay with this voice a while longer. I will read again when needed. For now, accept that mercy is already given. Receive it and let it move through the small motions of the day. Rest in that assurance. Let the night be a mild and healing place. I come with a soft voice again. The room is quiet. The lamp gives a low circle of light. Tonight, I guide toward the Bible as a place to rest. The pages become a pillow for thought. The words are not a list of tasks. They are a gentle companion. Begin by choosing a very short passage. 1 or 2 verses work best. Short is not small. Short is simple enough to sit with. A single verse can be a doorway. A short psalm stanza can be a room to enter. Keep the choice easy. The aim is calm. not study. I hold the Bible in my hands. The cover is familiar. The paper feels like a friend. If a bookmark is nearby, let it mark the place for tonight. If there is a page that keeps returning in the mind, open that place. Trust the small tug of memory. It often knows what the heart needs. Read the passage aloud very slowly. Let each syllable arrive like a drop of water. Do not hurry to finish. Allow space between phrases. The silence is part of the reading. It becomes a place for the words to settle. When a line lands, let it rest. Do not move on until it has room. After the first reading, breathe with a single word. Choose one word from the passage that felt warm or true. It may be hope, rest, mercy, or hul. Repeat that word on the out-breath. Say it as if it were a small candle flame. Breathe in gently. Whisper the word on the out-breath. 5 slow breaths is often enough. The breath links the word to the body. Read the passage a second time. This time, listen for a line that opens a picture. Perhaps a lamp, a shepherd, a steady hand, or a gentle river. Do not force an image. Let it arrive like a visitor who knocks softly. Let the picture be small and ordinary. Hold it without analyzing. The imagination is a kind of quiet muscle. It relaxes with practice. Place a hand on the chest or the belly. Let the warmth be a reminder that the body receives what the ear hears. Keep the touch light. Do not grip. The palm becomes an anchor. When the mind wanders, return to the hand on the chest and to the one word chosen earlier. This simple return calms the nervous system. It makes the message of the scripture bodily. A third reading follows. Read it as if you are listening from across a room. The voice is near but unhurried. Allow one sentence to echo. Let that echo be the final thing carried into sleep. It does not need to explain everything. It only needs to be true enough to hold the heart in the night. Try a breath prayer with a short passage. On the in-breath, say a simple phrase of the verse. On the out-breath, respond with one small word of trust. For example, take a line that speaks of grace. Breathe in the line slowly. Breathe out the single reply enough. Repeat this pattern for several breaths. The rhythm resembles steady waves against the shore. It does not solve problems. It shifts the posture of the heart. Another practice is to trace the words with a finger. Gently move along the line as the voice reads. The finger tracks the letters as the ear hears them. This is tactile listening. The body learns the cadence. The mind rests in a pattern that is small and repetitive. Patterns calm the scattered thoughts. Keep a short verse, written on a small card by the bed. Read it first thing and last thing. Repetition is not dull when the aim is rest. Hearing the same line night after night makes the mind familiar with a different rhythm. Over time, the verse becomes a shelter. It is a small lamp that the heart can find without thinking. When the heart feels heavy, remember a verse that speaks of weakness and grace. I read these lines slowly. Now my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Repeat them softly. Let the phrase remind the mind that rest does not depend on strength alone. Rest can be surrendered into a wider care. Keep the reading gentle and short. Avoid arguments with the text. The night is not for wrestling. It is for listening. Let any questions rest. They may come back in the morning. For now, give the ear to the calm voice of the page. If sleep is slow, close the eyes and listen to the words again without moving the mouth. Let the passage play inside like a soft music track. Picture the verse as a room light change to a dimmer setting. Brightness is not needed. A dim, steady light is enough to read by and then to rest. Use the Bible as a bedside companion, not a taskmaster. Keep it reachable. When a worry rises, open the page for 1 or 2 lines. Read them aloud. Do not demand new insight. The simple act of returning to a trusted sentence can change the tempo of the mind. When memory brings past mistakes, lay them beside the scripture for a moment. Do not carry both at once. Put the memory down and place the verse in front. Let the words stand between the memory and the heart. The text becomes a frame that helps the mind see its pain in a different light. This approach does not erase remorse. It offers a context for healing. Invite silencer after reading. Sit with the quiet as if it were a soft blanket. The pause is where the Bible moves from being words to being presence. Presence does not always arrive as a sensation. Sometimes it is a calm acceptance that the world is not entirely chaotic. Let that acceptance be enough. If it helps, close the session with a small blessing. It can be a short sentence, said slowly. Bless the day's small graces. Bless the fragile parts of the self. Bless the ones you love. Blessing is a gentle way to place warmth over the night. Keep the pace slow. 1 or 2 passages are better than many. The goal is rest, not learning. The mind needs a place to land. A well-chosen verse offers a landing strip. Come down gently. Do not rush the descent. Consider a nightly habit. Choose a verse to read for a week. Let the same lines return each night. Notice how the verse changes. The text will begin to speak in new shades. Familiarity deepens the calm. It makes the sleep that follows more steady. If wakefulness returns, do not scold the mind. Open the small card and read the verse once more. Repeat the 1-word breath prayer. The practices are simple, because small things make large shifts over time. I keep my voice steady when I read to you. The tempo is slow. The pauses are long. The aim is to make the word a bedside friend. It is not a test of devotion. It is an invitation to rest in a presence that keeps watching. Tonight, pick 1 verse. Say it softly 3 times. Breathe with 1 chosen word. Let the breathing slow the body. Let the words slow the mind. When the eyes close, carry the last line inward. Let it be the final sound before sleep. I will read a brief line now to close this part. Hear it as a gentle promise. Not a performance. My grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. Let that truth be a small lamp at the edge of the dark. Lay the Bible beside you. Place the card within reach. Keep the breath slow. Rest in the simplicity of the words. When sleep comes, welcome it as a mercy. When wakefulness returns, return to this quiet practice. I will read again when needed. For now, the word rests near, and the night can do its work. I sit with the Bible open on my lap. The room breathes slowly. My voice is close and soft. I tell the words as a quiet invitation. I read Matthew 1:1 to 8:30 slowly, and I leave space after each line so the ear can hold it. Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Hear the lines as a promise spoken into the night. Let each phrase sink where the body remembers tension. Imagine the sound as a hand at the doorway, asking if burdens may be set down for a while. Picture a small stool by the door where heavy things can be placed. That stool is steady. It is close enough to the bed. It holds what you carry so the hands can be empty. Now I lead a simple breathing exercise. Keep the eyes soft. Let the face relax. Place one palm gently over the sternum. Let the other rest on the belly if that feels steady. The palms become small shelters. Feel their warmth. That warmth tells the nervous system it is noticed. Begin with a slow inhale. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold softly for 3 counts. Breathe out for 6 counts. Count without strain. Think of the inhale as gathering. Think of the exhale as letting go. I guide this rhythm again and again. Each repetition feels like setting one small thing on the stool. Round 1, breathe in for 4. Notice the rise under the hand on the belly. Hold for 3. Notice the gentle pause. Breathe out for 6. Imagine placing a single worry on the stool. See its shape briefly. Close the eyes to keep the image small. Breathe again. Round 2, breathe in for 4. Let the breath move toward the ribs. Hold for 3. Breathe out for 6. This time, imagine a tense shoulder melting into the chair. Let the shoulder be a loose thing. Place it on the stool. Feel the space where the tension used to sit. Round 3, inhale 4. Hold 3. Exhale 6. Picture a thought that has returned too often tonight. Gather it into the hands. Lay it on the stool without judging it. Let the hands become empty. Notice the small relief that follows. Round 4, inhale for 4. Hold for 3. Exhale for 6. Bring to mind one small kindness from the day. Breathe it in. Let it rest beside the heavier items. The stool carries both burden and gift. The balance is quiet and human. Round 5, breathe in 4. Hold 3. Breathe out 6. Imagine a simple sentence you can use when worry returns. It might be the phrase from the scripture, I will give you rest. Or it might be a single word, rest. Breathe the sentence in. Let the word soften on the out-breath. Round 6, inhale 4. Hold 3. Exhale 6. At the end of this round, let the breath slow without forcing. Allow breathing to become its own friend. Keep the hands where they are. Notice how the chest has changed its shape by kindness. If the mind wanders during any round, do not scold it. Notice the wander and bring the attention back. Each return is an act of care. Think of attention like a small lamp that can be moved from one thing to another. Move it without hurry. The gentle act of returning reshapes the evening. Now I add a small variation to deepen the release. On your inhale, quietly say a short phrase inwardly. On your exhale, release it with a single word. Try this pattern as a breath prayer. Breathe in with the thought, "Come to me." Breathe out with the word "rest." Repeat this for 5 or 6 breaths. The words do not need to be exact. Use what lands with least effort. Let the phrase fit in the sternum, like a soft pebble. The echo of the words softens how the body responds to the night. Next, move the attention through the body with the same gentle rhythm. Start at the feet. Breathe in and imagine warmth rising from the soles. Hold briefly. Breathe out and imagine the feet relaxing. Move the same pattern to the calves. Breathe in warmth. Hold. Breathe out and let the muscles loosen. Continue up through the knees, the thighs, the hips. Each place receives one slow breath. Each out-breath sets one small weight on the stool. When you reach the lower back, breathe in and imagine a small space opening there. Hold 3 counts. Breathe out 6 counts and release. Let the spine soften. Let the ribs widen a little. Do not push. Allow small movement only. Bring attention next to the shoulders. Inhale warmth. Let the shoulders lift gently as if they were children climbing a stair. Hold. Exhale and let them fall away like a fabric sliding off a table. The shoulders do not need to know every answer. They only need permission to let go. Move up to the throat. If the jaw holds, let the mouth open a fraction. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, and imagine the tongue unclenching. Let the throat be soft. The voice inside you can be quiet. It does not have to work tonight. Rest now on the face. Soften the eyes. Breathe in, hold, breathe out and feel the forehead. Relax. Imagine that soft stool again and see the last traces of worry resting there. The face becomes a place the night can touch without alarm. If sleep comes during the practice, welcome it. Stop thinking of the exercise as a task to finish. Its purpose is to invite rest. Let the body do the rest of the work. I will keep the voice low and steady if you want company. If sleep arrives, that is a blessing. If wakefulness stays, use this shorter pattern as a return. Inhale 4. Hold 3. Exhale 6. Say inwardly, "Come to me." Breathe out. Rest. Repeat until the eyes feel heavy. Keep the palms on the chest for warmth. Let the hands tell the body that the world can be carried lightly for a while. There is a small image that I find helpful when sleep resists. Picture a small coat rack near the bed. Each worry is a scarf. As you practice the breath, remove one scarf at a time and hang it on the rack. The rack is not far. It holds the scarves without judging their color. The space between you and the rack grows. The hands become empty. The neck breathes easier. Breath makes a rhythm the body can follow. Rhythm calms. Repetition teaches the nervous system that the night is not urgent. It is slow and safe. The scripture promise is present in this rhythm. Come to me, and I will give you rest. Let that be the hand that guides the breath. I keep my voice soft and measured as the breathing continues. I do not hurry the process. I let each phrase be heard twice. Then once more, if a single sentence becomes an anchor, return to it until the mind accepts the shelter it offers. Before I close this part, take one final breath together with me. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold 3. Exhale 6. Picture the stool now partly full. Notice the lightness in the hands. Note the warmth on the chest. Breathe ordinarily now and rest in whatever comes slowly. I stay a while longer and wait with this room. When the time to read again arrives, I will choose more gentle passages and read them with long pauses. For now, keep the breath slow, keep the hands warm. Let the promise be a small lamp at the bedside. Rest. When it arrives, we'll find a soft place to land. There is a quiet story I come back to. When the night feels thick, it is simple. It is small. It returns often like a soft footstep in a house that has learned to wake slowly. A season arrives that feels like winter. Days are short. Work changes. Sleep thins. The heart carries an ache that does not shout. It hums. The first habit that slips is patience. Little tasks become mountains. The hands learn to hold the pattern of worry as if it were a warm thing. That warmth is deceptive. It keeps the hurt close. In that time, a neighbor leaves an old packet of seeds on the porch. The paper is faded. The packet speaks of a plant that does not demand much. It is nothing dramatic, a small herb, a promise of green. I almost leave it there. The mind says there are better uses for time. The heart says everything is too broken for a plant. But the packet stays. That night, I place the seeds on the kitchen table. I wash my hands slowly. The water feels ordinary. I plant a few seeds in a shallow pot. The act is tiny. The rhythm of thumb. Soil. Seed. Soil again is steadier than any plan. Planting is a small vote for tomorrow. Days move in small steps. The plant finds a way. It is not immediate. A thin sprout appears like a breath. It is fragile. It leans toward light. I set the pot on the windowsill where the lamp spills a soft circle. Each morning I notice the tilt and turn the pot toward the light. Turning feels like a prayer that does not need words. The work is not only about growth, it is also about repair. A friend from years before calls, but not in a loud way. The call is a quiet check. Apologies come in plain sentences. They are short and honest. There is no dramatics. There is simply a willingness to face what was broken. Repair begins as a small agreement to try again. The attempt is thin at first. It thickens with ordinary acts, an email, a shared cup of tea, a patient return of favors. The world does not leap into brightness. The inside of it shifts. That shift is enough. At night, I read a short line from the Bible, as I always do. The habit began here. The words are soft and few. They are not used like a hammer. They are used like a lamp on a bedside table. The lamp does not banish the dark. It makes a small place to rest the eye. The words move into the heart in the same way. They are a calm presence beside the trouble. I read them slowly. I let the silence after each line be part of the reading. A steady rhythm develops. Days of watering and turning. Nights of reading and quiet. The plant grows. The friend and I learn new small courtesies. The hands stop clenching as often. The jaw holds less. These are not triumphs. They are soft repairs. They are the kind of things that build a life that can carry more grace. Renewal in this story is not a sudden conversion. It is a series of small appointments with mercy. A neighbor's check on a bad day. A day when a cup of tea tastes warm and true. A short sentence offered aloud. Not in printed perfection, but in the imperfect voice of one who tries. Renewal is a slow unfreezing. It is a thawing that begins outside in small, tangible ways, and then travels inward. I notice how the body responds to gentleness. Muscles that had a habit of guarding relax when routine is kind. A steady bedtime reading changes the temperature of the night. The mind has fewer sharp edges. Night becomes less like an alarm and more like a room that can be entered gently. Comfort is not the same as cure. Comfort does not pretend the scar is gone. It simply makes the scar less commanding. Mercy appears in small gestures. A neighbor stops at the door with a jar of jam. A pastor sends a short note that says simply that someone is thinking of the household. A child waves from a car window and smiles with no agenda. These little mercies do not erase the larger problems. They do not have to. They remind the heart that it is not alone. Christ's presence in this quiet story is like the steady light I place near the plant. It does not shout across the field. It keeps watch. The presence is offered in ways that do not demand a response. Its mercy is patient. It waits without pressure. That patient presence teaches the hands to let go some of their grasping. The grip loosens first in small places. The loosened grip then allows other parts of life to breathe. There are nights when the old fear returns. The mind replays what could go wrong. The heart tightens. On those nights I do not try to fix everything. I offer a little attention to the breath. I run my fingers over the rim of the pot. I remember the sprout that grew despite small odds. I read a short line from the scripture as a companion, not as an argument. The line sits in the room like a candle. It is enough to keep small things visible. Slow acts begin to compound. A small herb becomes a little bush on the sill. Tea brewed from its leaves tastes like a soft memory. The friend and I find a new way of speaking after many tries. The hands learn to offer small favors without tallying them in a ledger. Work begins to feel possible again. The mind does not leap from despair to joy. Instead, it steps forward, one small foot at a time. The lesson of that season is clear and gentle. Renewal is a patient thing. It grows best in a steady kitchen light. It arrives in habits that are not flashy. It keeps company with mercy. It does not demand more faith than a person has. It begins with the small courage to try again, to plant, to water, to speak a short, honest sentence, to read a line that reminds the heart that someone watches with steady care. Tonight, as I sit here with the Bible open and the lamp dim, I tell this story slowly. The aim is not to correct a life in 5 minutes. The aim is to offer a model. The model is simple, Small acts, done again and again, form a path toward renewal. The story invites the listener to consider one gentle act they might do tomorrow. It might be planting a seed, or sending a brief note, or reading one line from the Bible before sleep. The act does not have to be grand. It only has to be faithful in the small things. If the mind resists imagining a new season, begin with this: choose one tiny, ordinary thing and repeat it for a week. Water a small plant. Make a short list of 2 things that went well each day. Read a single verse each night. Keep the action humble. Let consistency do the heavy work. Over team. Patterns. Change the heart's expectation about what is possible. Before sleep. I read a short piece of scripture, as I always do. The line is soft and steady. I place it close to the ear. It rests on the heart, the way a hand might rest on a shoulder. The reading is not a test. It is companionship. It says, in a kind tone, that renewal is near enough to begin with a single small thing. The words offer rest and a hope that is not flashy but true. Now, with the lamp low and the pot on the windowsill, I invite you to picture a tiny seed under the skin of the earth. Imagine the slow warmth of it waking. Picture the green tip finding the light. Let that image be a small company for the next breath. If there is a worry to hand over, place it gently on the sill beside the pot. Give it to the steady light. I keep my voice soft as I close this story. Tonight the work for rest is small. Choose one action that you can do tomorrow. Keep it simple and kind. Let repetition become the architecture of renewal. I will read a short line now. Not as instruction, but as a close companion before sleep. Hear it and rest with it. Let the sentence be a small lamp at your bedside, steady and patient, like the one I keep for the plant on the sill. I come close now and keep my voice low. The night listens. My words are a slow hand that guides your attention toward a simple image. Imagine arms, not a perfect image, just arms that are steady and kind. Picture those arms reaching out as the day ends. They are not large in a frightening way. They are warm and familiar. They fold around the shoulders like a soft blanket. The feeling is safe. The body notices first. The shoulders drop a little. The jaw loosens. The breath finds a softer pace. I ask you to do nothing heroic. Just picture. Let the scene be small. See the arms as a shelter that does not solve everything. It only offers close care. Think of someone who has held you before. The memory helps the imagination settle. There is a posture to this imagining. Sit or lie so the spine feels supported. Place a hand over the sternum. Let the palm be a reminder of touch. Close the eyes if that helps. If closing the eyes tightens the face, keep them soft and unfocused instead. The body will tell what it needs. Breathe in slowly. Count 4 if that helps. Hold a tiny moment. Breathe out longer as air leaves. Imagine the arms tightening slightly. Not to hurt, but to keep steady. Each exhale is an offering of what you do not have to carry alone. Let the rhythm match the feeling of being held. I read a short line from Scripture now. I do not hurry it. Let the words land softly. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Say the line inside. Let the phrase rest on the chest like a small weight that is not heavy. The idea of mercy that renews each day is an invitation. It says that even when tonight is hard, there is another morning that begins without the baggage of yesterday. That promise is small and slow. It does not erase pain. It offers a fresh start. If a family member carries a new beginning tomorrow, place that person in the image of the arms too. See the watchful care surrounding them. Picture grace bending toward their plans and mistakes alike. Let the hope for them be soft and steady, like a lamp on a porch at dawn. The prayer for someone else can ease a knot inside your own chest. Keep returning to the warmth in your palm. Imagine the arms as an extension of that warmth. Visualize the fingers as gentle, laid across the top of the shoulder. There is no pressure to be perfect. The hands simply hold. The body recognizes the gesture as permission to rest. Think of a small scene that complements the arms. A low chair by a fireplace, a blanket folded over the armrest, a dim lamp that keeps watch without shouting. In that room, voices are quiet and breathing is slow. Let that quiet be a companion to whatever turmoil the mind brings. The scene is an anchor, not a cure. I offer a tiny action you can do when the night feels long. Speak a short sentence inwardly on the in-breath. On the out-breath, let go of one named worry. Use words like this: you are with me. Or simply, hold me. Repeat the pattern for several breaths. The words do not need to be full of theology. They are ordinary sentences that the heart can lean on. If sleep will not come, try another small practice. Imagine placing each worry in the crook of the imagined arm. Each worry is no larger than a pebble. Set it there and step back. Watch how the arms hold the pebbles without judging. See how the grip on your own hands lightens. Small symbol acts do real work on a nervous system. I remember a night when this image helped me. The mind was loud and clever at making fears bigger. I sat very still and pictured the arms once. Then again, the chest that had been tight ached less. The shoulders softened. The hands opened. Nothing dramatic happened. A small shift made the room easier to be in. The memory of that ease often returns as a reliable place to rest. Keep the visualization gentle. If the image of arms does not sit right, imagine a cloak or a shelter instead. The point is the same. There is a near, steady presence that does not demand answers. It simply keeps watch. The form can change. The comfort does not return to the scripture line slowly. Hear it several times. Each repetition lets the phrase sink deeper into the body. The mercies are new every morning. Let that mood of renewal be present without forcing faith. Allow hope to be a soft habit. Small habits grow trust over time. If sorrow or guilt pushes back, do not argue with it. Acknowledge the feeling and offer it to the imagined arms. You do not have to explain. Names are enough. Say inwardly this sorrow, this guilt. Set the words down. The act of naming makes the feeling less secret and less alone. If a hand reaches for the phone or to do one more task, set it down. Close the cycle of the day by a small ritual. Turn off a light. Fold a blanket. Place a small card with a verse by the bed. Rituals tell the body that the day is ending. They do not need to be elaborate. They only need to be consistent and kind. I keep my sentences short because the ear rests on simplicity. The mind does not need new arguments to quieten. It needs slow. Dediquis. The imagined arms are a cue. The verse is a cue. The breath is the steady cue that ties them together. There is a tender truth here. Being comforted does not require everything to change. Comfort teaches the body to tolerate unrest. The arms hold while the world waits. That is mercy in practice. Mercy can be a small, patient action that repeats itself when the mind will not stop turning. Sometimes images will fail. Sleep will not come. Thoughts will swarm. On those nights, allow the presence to sit silently with you. Imagine the arms resting at the side of the bed. Let them be a simple company that does not demand you to fall asleep. The presence itself is a kind of rest. If a name comes up, someone you love or someone you worry about, place that name inside the arms too. Let the arms hold both the person and the worry. The imagination of shared holding helps the heart sense that burdens are not solitary. Shared burdens become lighter even if they persist. I will read the scripture once more before I close this part. Hear it as a lullaby, not a lecture. Let the cadence be soft. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Listen for the last line, like a slow exhale. Let the rhythm of the words match the breath. Feel their truth like a warm cloth placed over a tired shoulder. Mercy arrives again tomorrow. Mercy is already near tonight. Prepare now to settle. Place the hands where they feel steady. Check the jaw. Let the shoulders soften. Breathe in gently. Breathe out longer. Carry the image of the arms with you into the dark. I will stay here in a low voice for a little while. If sleep comes, that is welcome. If the night continues, return to the small practices offered named breaths, placing worries in the imagined arms, repeating the short verse. These repeated motions are gentle scaffolding for rest. As I close this part, hold one quiet resolve. I will be kind to myself tonight. Let kindness be small and practical. Let it include turning off the mind's harsh questions for a few hours. Trust that renewal waits in the morning. And let the arms I pictured keep watch until dawn. When you are ready, let the breath slow and the eyes soften. I will read again soon, with more quiet words and steady pauses. For now, rest in the imagined embrace. Let the night be a mild, careful place. Let the mercy that is new every morning hold you through until light. I tell a quiet story now. It is my own. I share it slowly. The aim is not to impress. The aim is to offer a small lamp for someone else who is tired. For a long season, my body keeps a steady ache. Nights are the worst. The muscles tighten. The mind finds every corner that can hold worry. Sleep becomes a rare guest. The days stack up as a list of small losses, less energy, more caution, fewer invitations accepted. The heart learns to expect little Doctors speak with careful hands. Tests come and go. Words like manage and cope sit at the edge of each appointment. I listen to good counsel. I follow advice. Still, the nights refuse to be gentle. The small practices I had relied on begin to feel thin. The Bible sits like an old friend in a chair. I do not know how to invite it back in. One evening, weary in both body and mind, I return to a practice I once kept. I open the Bible slowly and choose only a line. I do not try to cover whole chapters. I do not demand answers. I read one sentence aloud and then breathe with it. The sentence rests like a spoonful of warm soup. The body notices. The jaw releases a fraction. The breath lengthens. A neighbor brings a pot of soup. It is a small mercy. The act of holding that warm cup reminds the hands that kindness still exists. A friend offers a short note that says only, "I am thinking of you." That note is thin and steady. It does not solve the pain. It does not need to. It becomes evidence that the world still includes tenderness. One scripture image begins to press on my imagination. It is the picture of shelter and protection. The verse speaks of gathering under wings. I picture the wings like wide palms. They cover a small house. I imagine the feathers as warm and real. The image is not spectacular. It is intimate. It feels like a quilt wrapped around the shoulders. When fear rises at night, this picture comes first. I imagine being beneath those wings. The chest loosens a little. The first real night of rest after many restless ones is not dramatic. It is a shallow, blessed thing. I lie down and the body does not tighten in the same way. The breath keeps a longer line. I wake once, and the fear that used to hold like glue is not as sticky. The change is small. It is enough to make a difference the next day. Healing in my life does not happen in a single act. It grows like a seed. The seed needs small waters. The waters for me are tiny habits. Reading one line before sleep becomes regular again. A hand rests on the sternum while breathing in and out. A friend texts a short check-in rather than waiting for a full conversation. I say short sentences. Into the dark, help me rest. Thank you. These are not eloquent prayers. They are honest ones. There is also the slow mending of a relationship. A misunderstanding had become a wall. Time and pride had built mortar. Mercy arrives in a plain sentence of apology. It is not styled or dramatic. It is simply honest. The reply, I do not demand. Repair comes by small acts, showing up to help move a box. Accepting an invitation for tea. Laughing at the same old joke that used to be easy. Those small things are stitches. They are what knit a fabric back together. The body begins to respond as the inner climate shifts. The jaw unclenches more nights than not. The shoulders carry less of the day's tension. Walks feel possible again. The energy does not flood back at once. It returns in steps first, a single afternoon that does not feel like a slog. Then a morning where the hands find the kettle without dread. These are increments of mercy. There are mornings when the old ache returns fiercely. Those mornings teach patience. I do not imagine that healing will be a straight line. It is a curve with dips and rises. When setbacks come, I return to the simple habits. I read a short verse. I place a hand over the heart. I breathe in slow counts. The practices are small and repeatable. They are not dramatic, but they are faithful. Community matters in ways that surprise. A neighbor who checks on the porch, a friend who sends a single recorded voice message instead of a long email, a church elder who stops by with no sermon and only a cup of coffee. These small presences do not fix the medical chart. They ease the nights. They remind me that healing is rarely only physical. It is social and spiritual too. I learn to accept rest that is not perfect. Sometimes rest is a short nap in the afternoon. Sometimes it is simply fewer tasks given to a body that needs space. The language of rest changes. It is no longer a goal to achieve by force. It becomes a gift, received. Receiving is difficult. It requires permission. I practice saying yes to gentle offers. I let someone else wash a dish. I place a small list on the fridge and allow one item to go undone for the day. Prayer becomes a quiet habit rather than a list of requests. The prayers are short phrases, folded into breath. Breathe in the word come. Breathe out the word rest. Repeat. The practice links body and heart. It is not complex. Complexity wakes the mind. Simplicity soothes it. Healing also includes the slow arrival of hope. Hope here is not naive or loud. It is a steady candle. Some mornings the hope is nearly invisible. Other days it glows like a small lamp. Each time hope returns. Gratitude follows. I learn to name small mercies aloud. A warm bowl of soup, a kind message, a morning with less pain. Naming these things anchors the heart in reality, rather than only in what is missing. There is a night when the old habit of holding everything tight finally relaxes long enough for me to sleep through. I wake in the morning with the memory of uninterrupted rest. The relief is not a solution to every problem. It is, however, evidence that rest can return. The knowledge changes future nights. Hope grows bolder, but still gentle. Part of healing includes forgiving myself for past responses. In the season of pain, I had judged the body harshly. I had called it weak. I learned to speak kindly to my own limits. I acknowledge that healing is a process that requires patience and tenderness. That change in inner speech matters. It shifts how the body and mind collaborate. The image of protective wings remains central when fear returns. I picture being tucked under those feathers. The wings do not make every fear disappear. They change the frame around fear. They make space for mercy to act. The presence that those wings suggest is my companion in the night. It is a steady reality I can return to without effort. Now, I read the Bible each night as part of the practice I keep offering to you. The pages are calm. The sentences are short. I choose what the heart can hold. I do not burden the ear with long arguments. The words I read do not fix everything. They steady the hand that will turn off the lamp. If you are carrying an ache tonight, consider this small path. Choose one short line. Read it slowly. Breathe with one simple word. Allow someone to bring you one practical kindness. Accept help when it comes. Repeat these small things until the nervous system learns new rhythms. Healing often begins with tiny, faithful acts. My testimony is not a finished tale. Healing in my life continues. The nights are gentler more often now. The body is not the same as before illness. Neither am I. I have learned that rest is not a final prize. It is an ongoing practice. I keep returning to the same small habits because they work softly and steadily. Before I close this part, and for tonight, hear this short image and carry it with you. Picture being tucked under wide. Steady wings. Feel the warmth like a blanket over the chest. Let that image hold your worry for a while. Breathe in and know you do not have to carry everything alone. I will read a short verse in a few moments. I will speak each phrase slowly and give it space. If sleep comes, that is the best possible thing. If it waits, return to the simple practices described. Keep the breath steady. Keep the lamp low. Rest is a friend learning to stay. I settle in and lower my voice. The lamp is soft. The room breathes with a slow, steady hum. Hands find a place to rest. One palm over the sternum feels right. The other hand settles in the lap. Spine is supported. Eyes may close. They may stay soft and unfocused. Either way is welcome. This next part is a silent reflection. It is a guided quiet. No rush. No hurry. The aim is to make space where a single honest prayer can be held. The space is for healing in many forms: body, heart, spirit. The presence of others matters even when they are far away. Community gathers in the quiet by intention and by prayer. So we begin with the breath. Breathe in slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. Let the counting be gentle. It is a metronome that moves the nervous system from alarm to ease. Repeat this 3 times. Each cycle loosens one small knot. Each exhale sets down a small weight. Now, I read a line from Scripture softly. Hear it not as proof against doubt. Hear it as a steady promise to rest upon. I speak it slowly, and I leave space after each phrase so the ear can hold it. And the prayer of faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise them up. If they have sinned, they will be forgiven. Pause. Breathe. Let the words sit like a warm cloth over the chest. The verse names prayer and healing together. It names trust and community as parts of the same work. Let that naming be an invitation to offer one thing into the quiet. If there is someone to pray for tonight, think of one simple name. It can be a neighbor, a family member, a friend, or your own name. Keep it single. A single name makes prayer small enough to hold. Picture that person sitting under a dim lamp. Imagine a soft hand resting over their shoulder. If you are with another person, a gentle touch on the arm can be a witness to the prayer. If you are alone, imagine the hands of the faithful gathering around that name like a circle of light. Now offer a short, inward prayer. Words need not be many. Say simply, heal them, or give them rest, or make them whole. If the lips move, that is fine. If the prayer is only a thought, that is enough. The nature of this prayer is quiet faith more than perfect phrasing. Begin a few breaths of silent prayer. With each inhale, name the person or the need inwardly. With each exhale, release the worry into the presence you trust. Breathe in the name. Breathe out a single short word, peace. Breathe in the name, breathe out heal. Continue this pattern for as long as it feels gentle. There is also room here for confession and for forgiveness. If a burden of guilt sits heavy, name the thing in one short phrase, then offer it in the same silent rhythm. Breathe in the memory, breathe out the trust that mercy can meet it. This practice does not ignore responsibility. It simply allows a holding place where healing can begin. At times, prayer includes action. Small, practical steps often accompany the inner offering. If a first step comes to mind, send a note, make a call, offer a meal, hold that thought gently and let it rest in your awareness. If action is not possible now, let intention be enough. Community sometimes fixes things by small, ordinary gestures. I read the verse again. Slower, still. Let each syllable be a small lamp, and the prayer of faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise them up. If they have sinned, they will be forgiven. Let the sound sit and fade. After a few heartbeats, open the hands slightly, as if setting something down on a table. Imagine the name or the need now resting on that table. Picture the table surrounded by steady people who pray. The table does not demand immediate proof. It only holds the offering. We move into a longer silence now. This silence is a companion. It is not empty. It is full of the small offerings placed there. Stay with the breath. Keep the hand on the sternum if that feels calming. Notice the tiny rise and fall beneath the palm. Allow thoughts to pass like leaves on slow water. If the mind returns to worry, gently return to the one-name practice and the single response word. If the body needs a simple sign to make the prayer real, a light touch on the place of discomfort can work. Place the palm where the pain is. Breathe toward that place. Imagine warmth traveling from the hand into the area. This is not a substitute for medical care. It is a bodily prayer that acknowledges pain and invites a presence to meet it. Listen for the hush of the room. In the hush, the idea of community becomes tangible. Even when alone, the faithful from different places join in such moments. Community prayer is not measured by number alone. It is measured by the willingness of hearts to carry one another. Picture a small chain of hands. Each hand a soft light passed along. I will leave a few minutes of quiet now. Keep the breathing slow. Keep the mind soft. If tears come, let them be. If calm arrives, receive it without suspicion. Both are part of prayer. Trust that the silence itself is working. Trust that faith does not always feel dramatic. Often it is a steady, quiet insistence that someone else is holding the burden. Silent space for reflection and prayer. In this quiet, some may feel the need to name specific requests. Others may only sense a relief. Both are welcomed here. The point is not a tidy answer. The point is the act of bringing the need into a shared place and letting it be carried. When the silence is ending, I read one final line from Scripture as a soft benediction. Hear it as a tender close to the practice. The prayer of faith will save the sick, and the Lord will raise them up. Let that promise be a small lamp at the edge of the night. It does not demand immediate proof. It invites trust. Healing often arrives in ways that surprise. It can be physical recovery, a mending of relationships, a quiet easing of the heart. Sometimes it is simply the peace that comes when a burden is no longer carried alone. Now take 3 slow breaths together. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold for 2. Breathe out for 6. On the final exhale, imagine setting the burden gently on the bedside table. Close the offering with a short inward word of thanks. Gratitude does not deny pain. It recognizes that mercy has been present in small ways. If a companion is beside you, offer a brief sign of solidarity. Now a quiet squeeze of the hand, a small eye contact, a nod. These small acts are prayers with hands. They testify that community is not an abstract idea, but a living help. I will remain in a low voice for a moment. If sleep comes, welcome it. Let the silence fold around the body like a soft blanket. If wakefulness continues, carry the ease of these breaths into the next hour. Return to this practice whenever the night grows heavy. The simple pattern of naming, breathing, and offering is a faithful companion. As this period ends, hold one small resolve. Tomorrow, choose one quiet act of care for someone in need. It need not be large. A short message, a cup of tea, a hand offered for a moment. These are ways prayer moves into the world. Healing is both a prayer and a practice. I close this silent time with a gentle blessing. May peace meet the place of pain. May mercy be a near hand. May the small light of community keep watch until morning. Rest now. Let the night do its slow, healing work. I walk slowly in my imagination to a place that feels like a soft answer to a long day. The path is narrow and lined with low ferns. My feet find soft earth. The smell of wet pine rises with each step. I do not hurry. The pace is gentle, like a hand turning a page. A small cove opens ahead. Water lies still there, like a mirror. The surface is wide and quiet. It takes in the sky without needing to change it. A few stones make a low shore. I sit on one that is warm from the late sun. The stone feels real beneath my weight. I let it hold me. Above, the trees lean toward the water. Their branches make a sheltered roof. Light filters through the leaves in slow, scattered stitches. The sound is almost nothing, a low rustle, the soft call of a distant bird, the occasional drip where a leaf lets go. The small noises make a kind of hush that keeps the heart steady. I close my eyes for a moment and breathe with the place. The air tastes faintly of cedar and cool moss. The lungs widen easily. Each breath is a small tide. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm moves the body from doing into being. In this cove I feel cloaked. The cloak is not heavy. It is a wide, soft thing that settles over the shoulders. It carries the smell of the trees and the quiet of the water. When I draw it around me, The world does not change its course. The cloak only changes how the world touches me. Edges of sharpness, smooth. The chest loosens. I set a small Bible on my lap in the imagined quiet. The cover is worn in a way that speaks of being used at late hours. I open it with care. The page fits the thumb easily. I do not look for argument. I look only for a light that will keep me company while the night does its work. Before I read, I name 3 ordinary gifts that came today. I say them slowly in my mind. A warm cup, a short kind message, a moment of stillness. The list is brief. Gratitude is not a triumph. It is a small lamp. Naming small gifts changes the weight of the evening in a way. The body notices. I read now from Scripture in a soft voice. I let each phrase have time to sink into the room I hold with my mind. I say 1 Thessalonians 5:1-6:18 gently. And I leave space after each line so the words can rest. Rejoice always. Pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances. I repeat the lines slowly. Like a small chant, the repetition is not a test. It is a practice. The words become a rhythm that the breath can follow. Rejoice. Pray. Give thanks. Each short command is a way to place the heart differently inside the night. After the reading, I keep my hand over my sternum. The warmth there anchors the ear to the body. I breathe with the words I just read. On the in-breath I say quietly, rejoice. On the out-breath I say, rest. I do this for a few breaths and let the sounds fold into the hush. I open my eyes and take in the cove again. The water holds the sky like a promise. A single cloud drifts across the mirror and then passes. The movement is slow enough that nothing feels sudden. I imagine the cloak again, now lighter, as if some of the weight I carried has shifted from my shoulders to the soft fabric. I let a small image form a ribbon of light on the water that marks a path. It is narrow. It leads from the stone where I sit to the place where sky and water meet. I picture myself placing one small worry on the ribbon. The worry is a pebble in my hand. I look at its edges. I do not need to justify it. I only set it down and watch it float toward the horizon. This practice is simple and repeatable. It does not erase the worry at once. The pebble still exists. The ribbon of light carries it away slowly. The act of handing it over is an honest, small movement. The body recognizes the motion as giving something up. Muscles that had tensed relax a little. The cove teaches me another small lesson. Nature does not fix the heart by force. The pond does not argue that peace must arrive in one night. It offers steadiness. The trees offer shade without questions. The wind keeps time. I learn from them the kind of patience that waits without needing immediate proof. I draw my cloak tighter for a moment and feel the texture where it brushes the skin. The feel is like the first line of a prayer. It is enough to begin. I place my hand over the Bible and breathe. The breath slows. The voice inside becomes less sharp. Softness arrives like a guest who always had permission to come in. I read one more short line aloud from the Psalms that matches the stillness here. I do not rush the syllables. I let each one sit like a small stone on the water. Be still and no. The line is brief. It is a stop before the night pushes forward. I repeat it twice more, spacing each repetition with a calm breath. Be still. No. The words are not a demand. They are an invitation to let the mind rest on the reality of a presence that keeps watch. I stay with silence then. The silence is not empty. It is full of the small sounds I first noticed. It contains the remembered gifts. It holds the pebbles I placed on the ribbon. I let the quiet be a container that does not need to be explained. As the dim light in my imagined cove fades, the stars come out slowly. They are not bright like street lamps. They are patient. Each star is a point of steady light. Together they make a sky that is kind to look at. I let my eyes soften and let the picture hold me. Before stepping away from the place, I return to the gratitude practice. I name 3 small things I will carry into tomorrow. 1 small act of kindness I will offer. 1 gentle boundary I will hold. 1 quiet moment I will protect. Each item is modest and possible. Naming them builds a bridge from rest to waking. I close the Bible and feel the weight of it balanced already between my hands and the stone. The cloak rests across my knees. The water keeps the sky. The trees lean in like companions. I stand slowly and feel the ground give gently beneath my feet. I do not leave the cove hurriedly. I walk back along the fern-lined path as if retracing a blessing. Each step brings the calm into a place I can carry back with me. The cloak remains folded lightly on the shoulder. The ribbon of light is a remembered way to place worries. The words are small lamps in my pocket. Now I prepare to sleep. I set the image beside the bedside lamp, as one might set a postcard from a friend. I place a hand on my chest and breathe 3 long, slow breaths. I say the short phrases inwardly. Rejoice. Pray. Give thanks. Be still. No. I will read these lines again if I wake in the night. They are simple tools, not tests. The Bible lies near, a steady companion. The cove can be visited at any moment in the quiet. The practice is to return there as often as needed. I end this part with a gentle resolve. I will carry 1 small kindness into tomorrow. I will let the night hold the rest that comes. The cloak of the cove stays near the bedside. I tuck the image beneath the pillow of memory and turn the lamp off. Sleep may come soon. If it does not, I will keep breathing the simple words and imagine the ribbon of light carrying the pebbles away. For now I rest in the steady hush. The presence that watches the cove watches my sleep too. I trust it to keep the night quiet and the morning mercies waiting. I come close again and keep my voice low. The lamp is dim. The night is patient. The story tonight is gentle and true. It is about a distant cousin and a road that curved back toward grace. Breath in slowly. Hold a soft moment. Breathe out longer. Keep the hand over the sternum if it feels steady. The warmth there will help the story land. The body notices small comforts first. The cousin lived far away for many years. Letters arrived thin and occasional. Life seemed busy in the edges. Then seasons changed, and the messages stopped for a while. News came in fragments. The tone was different. The words were smaller. There was a time of stumbling. Choices tightened around a life like vines. Work shifted. Relationships frayed. I do not give long lists. The details are not the point. The point is this: a person moved from ordinary days into a narrow place where hope felt thin. Redemption did not arrive in one bright scene. It came in small, steady steps. A neighbor brought soup. A pastor sat with no sermon and listened. A younger cousin sent a short note that said simply, "Thinking of you." Those acts were not dramatic. They were the small stitches that began to hold a life together. One evening I traveled there. The house is quiet. The kitchen light is low. We do not exchange long speeches. We sit with mugs of tea, and the quiet between us does much of the work. There is no need for grand words. Presence itself feels like repair. I read a verse slowly as we sit. The line is short. The cadence is soft. The verse says of being led beside still waters and of restoring the soul. I let each phrase rest on the ear. The words do not hurry. They do not demand immediate change. They simply promise a steady tending. Her story shifts most in small habits. A morning walk, a short prayer whispered before bed, a call to a friend when temptation murmurs. These are tiny practices. They are not glamorous. They are faithful. Over time they change how the body holds the day. Restoration shows in ordinary tasks. The kitchen becomes a place of cooking again, instead of a room to avoid. A workbench holds a few careful projects. A plant of basil sits by the sink. The plant is small and stubborn. It leans toward the light and asks for water. Caring for it matters more than it sounds. I watch the change as if noticing the weather. One afternoon, the shoulders do not climb as high. The jaw softens without an argument. Sleep returns in patches. Each hour of quiet sleep is a small rescue. Mercy arrives as small sleep and warm soup, and a neighbor's steady step on the porch. The cousin speaks of shame some nights. Shame returns like a cheap light that refuses to go out. We do not argue with shame. We name it. Naming makes spaces between the feeling and the person. It gives the mind room to breathe. Forgiveness is present but not theatrical. An apology arrives and is accepted in small gestures. A phone call that says I am sorry. A willingness to repair in slow, practical ways. No fireworks. Only the kind of repair that lasts because it is patient. I notice what this story does to my own chest. Hope loosens its hold on fear. The imagination learns new routes. If the mind rehearses worst-case scenes, a memory of the cousin's small steps interrupts the loop. Hope remembers that slow changes are real changes. The wider community matters here. A single caring voice does not fix everything. Many small, low voices make the work possible. A friend brings a casserole. A neighbor shovels a walk. A church member offers a ride to an appointment. These acts are not heroic. They are ordinary and enough. I read scripture aloud for a few moments. The verse is familiar and soft. I do not command the ear. I invite it. The words speak of guiding beside still waters, of quieting the soul. I leave space after each phrase so the meaning can settle like dust in a sunbeam. The cousin's faith is not perfect. It is thin at times. Doubt sits beside trust at the same table. That is expected. Faith often grows in awkward company. Even small trust is noticed. A whispered plea in the night is enough to begin a new chain of mercies. Repairs in relationships show in simple tasks: returning a borrowed tool, sending a short message on a birthday, saying a thank you for a small kindness. These habits lower the guard of suspicion. They teach the heart to accept help without tallying everything as debt. There is a night when a small miracle feels real. It is not miraculous in a headline sense. It is a gentle thing. The cousin sleeps deeply for the first time in months. I sit up for a while and read a short psalm. The words move slowly. The room holds them like a soft cushion. The sleep that follows is steady. It matters. Sometimes the path bends backward. Setbacks come. A phone call at 3 a.m. wakes the house. Old patterns show up like weather. On those nights, the work is to return to small practices. Breathe slowly. Place a hand on the chest. Read a single line again. Repeat a brief prayer. The return is faithful, more than fast. I reflect on grace in this life. Grace is patient. It does not require grand conversion. It often appears in the form of a neighbor staying an extra 10 minutes. In a cup of coffee handed across the counter. In a committed presence that does not tally successes and failures. These ordinary mercies shape the arc of redemption better than we often expect. The cousin's story teaches a simple lesson. Restoration tends to be slow and quiet. It asks for consistent small acts. It asks for forgiveness that is ordinary and practical. It asks for a community that will carry pieces of the load. The story offers hope without pretending to erase pain. I offer a short practice you can use if the night is long. Choose one sentence from a passage that feels gentle. Say it slowly on the in-breath, on the out-breath. Let one small word reply. Keep the phrase low. Try this for a handful of breaths. The rhythm ties the words to the body. Tonight I read Psalm 2323 softly. I let each phrase fall like a gentle rain. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness. I do not rush the lines. I repeat them once, and then again, with space between each wording. The silence that follows is part of the reading. The image of still waters matters. It is not about being removed from trouble. It is about a steady presence that makes rest possible even in the middle of trouble. The cousin learned to let the presence be enough. That practice became the ground where small changes could grow. Before I close, place a small act in your mind for tomorrow. A line written on a card, a brief message of kindness, a short walk. The action need not be grand. The aim is regularity. Small, faithful things over time become the architecture of renewal. Breathe deeply now. Keep a soft hand over the sternum. Feel the warmth. Repeat in your mind the short phrase, he leads me beside still waters. Let the words be like a slow tide that eases the mind. If the night brings rest, receive it. If wakefulness returns, return to the phrase and the breath. I will stay near with a low voice. I will read again when it helps. For now, accept the story of the distant cousin as a companion. Let it remind you that grace often comes quietly, in small acts, repeated without fanfare. Mercy is patient. Hope is gradual. Rest is possible. Carry that thought into the dark. Let the image of still waters hold the worry for a while. Sleep as it comes. Wake gently. Tomorrow, offer one small kindness and keep to it. That simple choice keeps the chain of mercy moving. It is enough. I come back to the lamp and the Bible. My voice is low. The room is quiet with the slow breath of night. Tonight the turn is toward presence. Not a doctrine to argue, not a problem to solve. A simple truth to notice. God is near and small. Quiet ways. I invite us to look for those ways together. Begin by settling in. Find a place that feels safe. Hands rest where they feel steady. Spine supported. Eyes soft. A single hand over the sternum helps. The warmth there anchors attention. The body notices before the mind does. Presence often arrives as a small sense, a warmth at the ribs, a steady rhythm in the breath, a line of light on the floor, a memory of a friend's kindness. These are not proofs. They are invitations. They tell the heart that it is not alone. I read a short line slowly now. Listen for each word and let the silence after it be part of the sentence. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Say the phrase inwardly if that feels right. Let it land gently. No need to argue with it. Receive it as a small lamp. Let the light touch a tight place. To notice presence, use the senses. Name one thing you can hear in the room. A hum. A distant car. Breathing. Name one thing you can feel on the skin. A blanket. The air at the cheek. The hand on the chest. Name one small thing you see. If your eyes are open. A soft shadow. The glow of a clock. These small acts of noticing are like a practice. They train the mind to stop racing and to gather. Try a brief breath prayer with me. Breathe in for 4 counts. Breathe out for 6. On the in-breath, think the single short phrase. I am held. On the out-breath, let go with the word. Here. Repeat 5 times. The words are plain. They link the breath to the thought of presence. Each repeat is a small tether back to calm. If a doubt rises, name it one sentence. Ask it a short question. Then place the question like a stone on a windowsill and return to the breath prayer. Doubt does not vanish at once. It softens when it is not the only voice in the room. Presence can be practical. 2. It appears in a neighbor's soft knock. It shows in a cup placed near a tired hand. It arrives as a friend's short message that reads, "Thinking of you." These are small mercies. They do not fix all things. They make the night easier to live through. Notice them. Let them be evidence that care exists in the world. I will read another brief passage. Hear it like a slow footstep in a hallway. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? Let the question rest. The answer sits in the quiet after the words. The thought is not a test. It is a cushion. The idea that presence is everywhere is meant to steady, not to overwhelm. A practice I use when sleep resists is to imagine a small room within me. It has a low lamp and a simple chair. On the chair sits the feeling that most presses tonight. I open the door of that inner room and place the feeling on the chair. Then I walk to the window and imagine the steady presence standing at the threshold. I picture the presence sitting beside the feeling on the chair. Not to shame it, but to keep company with it. The act is symbolic. It is gentle. It changes how the feeling sits in the body. Another practice is naming a single hope for tomorrow. Not a grand plan. One small possibility. A short walk. A phone call to a neighbor. A cup of tea warmed again. Say the hope aloud in your mind. Then place it in the hands of the presence you have invited. This makes hope a shared thing instead of a pressure. There is comfort in ritual. A short nightly habit can make the presence feel familiar. For some, it is a single verse, read at the bedside. For others, it is a tiny candle lit for a breath. For me, it is the Bible opened to a few lines and read slowly. Keep the habit small, so it becomes steady. Rituals do not solve everything. They train the heart to rest in a pattern of care. I read a simple benediction now. Hear it slowly. May you know you are seen. May you know you are kept. May you rest in the nearness that does not demand. Say these lines in the mind if that helps. Let the sounds be like a soft cloak. If worry wakes you later, use a brief anchor. Notice the palm on your chest. Remember the breath prayer. Repeat the word here on the out-breath. Let the repetition return attention without force. The nervous system learns from small repetition. This is how steady presence becomes a felt reality. Sometimes presence arrives by recalling a memory of care. A teacher who stayed after class. A parent who read a book aloud. A friend who visited with soup. Call one memory to mind, and let it act as proof that support exists. The memory does not have to be perfect. Its function is to remind the heart that help can be close. At times, presence feels like patience rather than action. Someone who waits without telling you what to do, that waiting is itself a gift. It keeps space open. If the night asks for patience, imagine that patient presence as a lamp kept burning beside the bed. The lamp does not judge how slow you move. It only stays lit. There are nights when the presence will feel distant. That is ordinary. Distance does not mean absence. Think of the sky at dawn. The light is present even when hidden behind clouds. Trust that the nearness you invite continues, even when feeling fades. I invite a brief practice of offering. Name one small worry. Speak it inwardly as a short sentence. Then imagine handing it to the presence as if passing a cup across a table. No need to explain every detail. The act of handing it over changes the hold it has on the body. Before the final reading, take a slow inventory of simple signs of care you have seen this week. One kind word. One small favor accepted. One meal warmed. Count them quietly. Let gratitude and presence sit together. Grateful memory and steady nearness walk well side by side. Now I read a closing verse slowly. I will leave space after each phrase for it to sink. The Lord goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Let the last line be a soft landing. It is not a test of how much you feel. It is a reminder that presence keeps watch. Finish with 3 slow breaths. Breathe in for 4 counts. Hold a quiet beat. Breathe out for 6 counts. On the final exhale, imagine the presence drawing a gentle circle around the house of your day. The circle is not tight. It only makes a small boundary where rest can begin. I will remain here in a low voice for a short while. If sleep comes, rest fully. If wakefulness stays, return to the hand on the chest and the 2 words that fit tonight, whatever they may be. Use them as anchors until the eyes grow heavy. Before I close, choose a single small practice to carry into tomorrow. Read 1 line at night. Send a brief message to a friend. Water a plant. Keep the action tiny. The aim is consistency. Small acts remind the heart of steady presence. I will read again soon. For now, let the nearness you invited stay by your bedside. Trust the quiet work of presence. Rest as slowly as you need. The night is not empty. It is watched. It is held. Sleep, when it comes, will be gentle. I sit with the lamp low. The Bible rests on my lap. The room holds a soft hush. Tonight, I read a short line slowly and let it rest. He has shown you. O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God? I speak the verse aloud in a quiet voice. I let each clause be a small place to land. The words are not a test. They are a simple map. They point to small, steady things. Earlier today, something small happened. It felt ordinary in the moment. It stays with me now. I tell it slowly, because small things often teach the most. I go to the corner shop in the afternoon. The sky is soft with rain. The walk is short. The shop smells of bread and warm paper. A woman stands near the door, steadying a stroller. Her phone buzzes. Her bag is light and worn. She looks tired in a way. Tired. Looks after a long season. I move toward the shelf with tea. The clerk at the counter notices her too. He rings a few sales. He plate glides his hands through small tasks. When the woman goes to pay, the register slips. Her card declines. Her face tightens. The clerk does not hurry. He asks a simple question about her day. The tone is low. The words are ordinary. There is no dramatic scene, no grand sermon. The clerk reaches into the register and slides a paper bag across the counter. He says something kind. The woman nods. Relief comes soft. The bag is not expensive. It holds bread and a small pack of milk. It is dinner for that evening. His act costs him little and means a lot to her. I watch without wanting to be a part. I sip my tea. My eyes notice the small exchange. Something in me eases. I think of Micah's 3 clauses and how they sit next to a register and a paper bag. Doing justice is not only high courts and large causes. Sometimes it is the small righting of a wrong. It is making space for someone who cannot carry all they need. The clerk does that by being present and by smoothing a sudden worry. Love kindness looks the same way. It is an action tender enough to be unnoticed by many and visible enough to the one who needs it. Walking humbly with God looks like patience. It looks like not shutting the door when a hand is stretched out. I go up to the counter then. I place my cup down and say I will take the check. The clerk resists. He waves it away with a shy hand. He prefers anonymity. I insist gently. The woman looks at me with an expression that holds both surprise and a small, guarded joy. She thanks me, and her words are simple. The clerk does not make a show. He returns to arranging loaves, like that is the measure of his day. We all leave with rain on our jackets. The stroller moves slowly down the sidewalk. The bread smells like warmth in its paper. The act is brief. Its echo is not loud. It stays soft inside me. On the way home, I think about what kindness really is. It is not always a performance. It is often a quiet correction in the flow of a day. It is a hand placed on a problem, so the person carrying it can breathe again. When I come to this conclusion, the verse from Micah becomes a companion rather than a remote command. Back at my table, I set the Bible open. I read the lines again and listen for the gentle connection between words and deed. The verse does three things. It calls for justice in small acts. It calls for kindness that looks like a daily posture. It calls for humility, walking with God rather than ahead of God. Walking as one who is also helped. I breathe slowly and let the story sink in. The breath anchors the learning. One slow inhale. One long exhale. The ribs widen little by little. The warmth of the teacup goes from my hands into the chest. The story sits beside the heart like a small lamp. This small act of kindness did not change the world. It did not intend to. It changed a night, an immediate need. A brief hunger. The clerk did not seek praise. The woman did not demand gratitude. The sequence is humble and plain. That is what makes it teachable. There is a way to practice this kind of living. It does not require public statements. It requires watching. It asks for small interruptions to planned schedules. It asks for ordinary resources used with tenderness. Justice becomes a habit of noticing when something is out of balance and offering a small correction. Kindness becomes a decision to act when it costs little to do so. Humility becomes the willingness to be part of the fix without seeking the credit. I name a few practical things I can do tomorrow. I will walk with my eyes a little more open. I will carry a coin or two for small needs that appear. I will not assume that someone who looks fine is fine. The tasks are small, but repetition shapes a life. Repetition is slower than headlines, but it is steadier. Now, I invite you to hold this small story with me. Picture the warm paper bag. Picture the steady clerk and the tired mother under the rain. Picture the room where the Bible sits and the line from Micah resting like a gentle map. Let the scene be a lamp beside the bed. Take a slow breath with me. Inhale for 3 counts. Hold a soft beat. Exhale for 5 counts. On the inhale, imagine taking in the presence of someone who cares. On the exhale, imagine letting go of any need to perform kindness. Let it be simple. Let it be enough to start with. If you want to carry this moment into tomorrow, choose one tiny act you can repeat. A cup of water left on a neighbor's doorstep. A note saying, "I am thinking of you." A small purchase for someone who needs it. The act must be small enough to do without boasting. Smallness keeps humility alive. I read the verse once more. I say it in a voice that is quieter than before. The slow pace allows the sentence to settle like a pillow on a chair. He has shown you what is good, to do justice, to love kindness, to walk humbly with your God. For tonight, let that line be a soft guide. Let it teach this, that mercy often arrives in the shape of a paper bag, warmed hands, and a clerk who chooses to notice. Let the memory be a small light to carry into sleep. I close the Bible gently. The lamp gives its last quiet glow. The breath keeps time. Mercy feels like a neighbor's step on the porch, and like a hand that does not ask to be thanked. Rest now with that image. Trust that kindness given and received makes a small room of peace. If sleep does not come straight away, return to the breath and the image of that small, patient exchange. Repeat the slow breath. Let the memory anchor the heart. In the morning, offer one tiny act. Let it be humble. Let it be kind. The world changes slowly this way, and the change is real. Good night. I sit with the Bible on my knee. The lamp is low. The room breathes slow. My voice is near and soft. I turn the page with careful fingers. I will read one line and then rest with it. I read Jeremiah 29:11 slowly. I leave space after each phrase so the ear can hold the sound. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. I say it once. I say it again more slowly. Each clause has room. The silence after each line is part of the reading. Let the verse sit like a small stone in the palm. This promise is not a schedule. It is not a timetable for every next moment. It is a steadiness that outlasts surprise. I find comfort in that steadiness. It is a steady hand on a map that has been folded 100 times. When nights press close, this line comes back to me. I remember a night when plans felt impossible. A list of small losses is easy to carry. The future looks grey. The hands tighten. The jaw holds tension. On that night I read this verse aloud. I do not ask for a long explanation. I only let the sentence rest on the chest. The breath slows. The mind learns one new rhythm. Hope here is not a bright light that sweeps away shadow. It is a small lantern held at the edge of the path. It shows the next stone to step on. That is enough. A single step makes the following one possible. Hope arranges the path into small pieces we can take. I picture a map that has hidden folds. Some roads are plain. Others disappear behind hills. The verse speaks of a plan. Yes, but it also whispers that whatever the road, care walks with it. Plans for welfare, not for evil, future and hope. Each phrase is a gentle correction to the loud forecasts of fear. I have held that promise like a letter unopened. There are nights when I read the first line and stop. I let the rest be a quiet trust. Hope becomes the act of keeping the letter close, not of demanding to know every detail inside. The waiting itself becomes part of the care. This promise helps me with small practices. I fold a scrap of paper and write one honest hope on it. I do not aim for grand things. I write something simple a morning that feels easier. A small conversation that goes well. A cup of tea shared without rush. I place the paper under my pillow. It is not magic. It is a tiny vow to the future. The act calms the hands. The body receives the small ritual as care. When worry rises, I use a short breath prayer tied to the verse. Breathe in with the thought, for I know the plans. Breathe out with a single word, hope. The pattern is steady and small. It ties the mind to an image, instead of letting thoughts ricochet. 5 slow breaths are often enough to shift the room inside the chest. Hope is not the opposite of grief. Both can live in the same breath. Some nights grief is near and heavy. This promise does not demand that grief vanish. It only adds a companion to it. The companion is a word that reminds me the story has not finished. That reminder lends the strength to breathe again. I remember a time when plans went sideways. A door closed I had not expected. The first reaction is to search for blame, or for reasons that explain. The verse offered a different posture. It said there is a plan that cares. Even when the door shuts, that thought does not fix the loss. It softens how the loss sits on the shoulders. Comfort from this promise often shows in small, steady things. A friend who checks in without big words. A neighbor's cup left on a doorstep. A morning where the pain in the body eases enough for a short walk. These are soft answers. They do not erase the larger trouble. They make the night easier to be in. I keep the language simple when I read it here. Simple words fit the ear at bedtime. They do not require long arguments or proofs. They sit like a small lamp on the bedside table. The lamp does not have to be bright. It only needs to be present. If the thought of a future feels overwhelming, I break it down. I ask myself, what is one small hope I can tend tomorrow? The task must be tiny. A single moment is enough. Planting hope does not require a shovel. It asks for a steady, small hand. That kind of hope grows by repetition. I hold this verse as a promise and as a practice. Promise means trust. Practice means the daily steps that let trust become familiar. Reading the line, breathing with it, writing a small hope. These are the tools I use when worry is loud. They do not force belief. They only invite the heart to try a new habit. There are nights I do not feel the promise at all. Doubt can be very loud. On those nights, I do not make a show of faith. I whisper the verse once, and then let the silence hold it. The very act of returning to the sentence is itself an act of hope. It is small courage. It is enough. I offer a gentle invitation now. Choose one brief phrase from the verse that lands lightly. It might be plans for welfare, or a future, or hope. Keep it short. Repeat it on the out-breath for a few breaths. Let the word be like a small knot you can hold until the hands relax. If you like, imagine the promise as a lantern and yourself as a traveler. The road is not all visible. You cannot see the summit or every bend. The lantern shows only the next step. That next step is sufficient. Take it. Rest between steps. Let the night fold around the small light. I will read the verse once more. Slowly, hear it as a nest of soft words. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Let the final phrase, future and hope, settle last. Let it be the last soft sound before sleep. If images come, maps, lanterns, letters, let them be gentle. If nothing comes, that is all right. Silence can carry the promise too. Before the lamp goes fully low, place one small hope on a scrap of paper. Fold it gently. Tuck it near the pillow or in the pocket of your bedside book. The act is tiny. It is a formal way of handing tomorrow a soft invitation. I stay here with the low light for a few more breaths. I will be near the words again when you wake, or if you return in the night. For now, let the promise steady the chest. Let hope be the lantern you carry into sleep. Trust that the plans that care continue to move, even when the steps are slow. Rest now. Let the verse be a quiet companion. Sleep when it comes. Wake with the same small courage to take the next step. I will read again when the hour asks for another soft promise. I come back quietly now to offer simple guidance for the night. The voice is low. The sentences are short. My aim is practical rest, not pressure. Start with the room. Make it cool. Around 60 to 68 degrees often helps. Turn the lamp lower. If possible, use a shade that softens the light. Warm light strains less. A small night lamp or a dimmer is kinder than a bright ceiling bulb. Remove screens or put them face down. The blue glow asks the brain to stay alert. Choose clothing that feels gentle on the skin. Soft fabric, loose sleeves, socks if the feet are cold. A small weight at the chest helps some people sleep. A light blanket over the knees comforts without overheating. Keep a glass of water nearby, but not too close. Limit heavy liquids in the hour before bed. Prepare a short ritual. It does not need to be long. A ritual trains the body to expect rest. Fold a small list of tomorrow's tasks and set it by the lamp. Close that list like a book. The mind can rest more easily when the day's practicalities have a place to live. A one-line journal entry helps too. Write one thing that went well today. Fold the page and set it aside. Breathe with care. Slow breath is an invitation to rest. Breathe in gently for 4 counts. Pause for 1 count. Breathe out slowly for 8 counts. Repeat this several times. Let the out-breath be longer than the in. The body listens to rhythm. Rhythm calms the nervous system. Try a brief body scan. Start at the feet. Notice any tension. Invite each muscle to ease without force. Move up through calves, knees, thighs. Soften the hips. Let the belly relax. Slow the shoulders down the back. Soften the jaw. A light touch on the sternum can be soothing. Place the hand there and feel the rise and fall. Let warmth become an anchor. Consider what you put into the body before sleep. Avoid heavy meals late. Limit caffeine after midday if you can. Alcohol can numb the edge, but disrupts deep rest. A small, Warm drink like herbal tea or warm milk can be a gentle signal to the body that the day is almost done. If sleep tends to elude, try a small piece of light protein rather than sugar. Sound matters. If silence feels sharp, choose soft, steady noise, a fan, a low-volume white noise machine, or a quiet recording of rain can steady attention. Keep volume low enough that it does not demand listening. If sudden sounds wake the night, earplugs can be a compassionate choice. Scent can help. A faint lavender sachet or an essential oil diffuser at low setting often calms the breath. Use scent with restraint. A strong smell can be stimulating. A light trace is enough to cue the mind that rest is intended. If worry comes, use a tiny practice to set it aside. Give the worry a name in one sentence. Write it quickly on a small paper. Fold the paper and place it in a jar or a drawer labeled tomorrow. This ritual does not erase responsibility. It simply gives the mind permission to rest while tasks wait in a safe place. I will read a verse now. Hear it slowly. Let the line land like a soft step. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Say it once in silence. Say it again. Slower. Let the words be an invitation, not a test. Rest does not demand perfect calm. It requires a small trust that the night can be a friend. Use the verse as a breath prayer. Inhale the first half when you lie down. Exhale the second half. Your sleep will be sweet. Repeat this pattern 5 times. Each repetition ties the promise to the breath and the body. The body remembers what the breath repeats. If wakefulness arrives in the middle of the night, do not judge it harshly. Sit up slowly. Keep the light very low if you need to move. Do not check screens. A brief walk to the kitchen and a glass of water can reset the system. Try a short cognitive reset list. 3 visible objects in the room. Name their color and shape. This simple noting pulls attention away from racing stories. Progressive muscle relaxation often helps return the body to sleep. Tighten one muscle group for a count. Then release fully. Move from the toes to the scalp. The contrast between tension and release teaches the body what relaxation feels like. Limit clock watching. Turn the face away. Time becomes a torment in the middle of the night. If a clock must be present, choose one with a dim face, or cover it. Remove the pressure of calculating minutes. Sleep is not punishment. It is a gift that cannot be forced. Be mindful of light exposure late in the evening. Bright screens and intense room light shift the brain's chemistry toward wakefulness. Use a warm light setting if you must read on a screen. Better still. Read from paper for the final 30 minutes. Choose short, calm passages. Let the words act like a soft lamp, not a lesson to study. If the body resists stillness, move through a gentle stretch sequence before lying down. Roll the shoulders slowly. Take the neck through small circles. Bend forward slowly from the hips and release. Stretch with curiosity, not strain. Movement can release stored tension and make settling easier. Create a ritual of gratitude. Name aloud one small mercy that came today. Keep the sentence short. The practice does not ignore pain. It simply places a small light in the field of attention. The light often makes the dark feel less absolute. Practical habits matter more than long plans. Go to bed at roughly the same hour most nights. The body thrives on routine. Even a small, consistent schedule trains sleep hormones to arrive at the right time. If sleep does not come at the appointed hour, get up and do a quiet task for a few minutes. Return when the eyes feel heavy. Temperature and bedding make a difference. A slightly cool room and breathable sheets help deep rest. If chills wake you, add a light layer rather than a heavy quilt. Warm feet often help. Soft socks are a small mercy. Weighted blankets calm many nervous systems. But choose a weight that feels like a gentle hand, not a pressure. If anxiety is persistent, name one tiny next step for the morning. Keep it minimal. One action dissolves the knot of imagined tasks. Tuck that step into the tomorrow jar. Closing the loop reduces the mind's urgency to rehearse solutions in the night. Keep medical realities practical. If sleep problems are chronic, consult a clinician. Simple habits help most nights. Professional care helps when nights are often restless. Do not treat the invitation to rest as a moral failing. Sleep needs care, just like any other part of the body. If prayer is your practice, use it as you always do. Speak short sentences into the dark. A single sentence is enough. Help me rest. Thank you for small mercies. Bless the people who cross your mind. Prayer is a way of handing worries to a presence that can hold them while you sleep. If you prefer no words, hold a single image. Picture a small light outside the door of the mind. Imagine placing one worry in that light and letting it warm into quiet. Visualizations like this are not magic. They are gentle tools to change how the body responds tonight. Now breathe with the verse one last time. Inhale the first half when you lie down. Exhale, the last your sleep will be sweet. Repeat twice more. Let the final syllable be the last sound before the eyes close. I will stay in a low voice for a few minutes. If sleep comes, rest fully. If wakefulness returns, return to these small practices without reproach. Sleep is patient. It waits in its own time. When the reading resumes, I will choose short lines and long pauses. For now, tuck the verse into the heart and let the breath do the rest. Good night. I come near in a softer voice now. The lamp is low. The room breathes. The same slow rhythm we have kept. Hands rest where they feel steady. If a palm lies over the sternum, keep it there. If the jaw holds, let it unclench by a fraction. The body is a home. Tonight, that home receives a blessing. Before I speak, take a long, easy breath with me. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold a soft beat. Exhale twice as long. Feel the chest widen and then settle. Let the breath be a small bell that marks the moment. The sound of the breath is company. It tells the nervous system it is safe to slow. I do not command calm. I only invite it. I will speak a few words and then a scripture. The words are gentle. They are a handing over. Receive them as a small gift. No effort is required except to listen and rest in the sound. I place my voice like a soft hand across the evening. I speak this blessing carefully. Slowly, hear it not as an explanation. Hear it as an enfolding. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May kindness guard the edge of your day. May protection be near, quiet as breath. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May warmth find the places that feel cold. May small mercy come where the heart is thin. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. May peace be more than absence of noise. May it be a presence that settles into bone and breath. Now I read the ancient lines slowly, one phrase at a time. Let each phrase land like a pebble in a still pond. Give the sound time to move through the chest and rest. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. I say them again. More slowly, let the silence between phrases be part of the blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Listen to the cadence of those lines. They are simple. They do not demand sudden change. They promise steady watching. Imagine the watching as a lamp at the bedside. It does not banish the dark. It only offers enough light to see the next breath. I place each clause beside a small image, so the ear has a place to rest, to bless you and keep you. Picture a door that remains closed to harm. The watch is not harsh. It is gentle vigilance. It is like a neighbor who sits in the kitchen until the storm passes. The posture is steady. The mind can lean against it. To make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you, picture warm light on the forehead. The light does not interrogate. It simply warms. Grace means favor that arrives without a ledger. Imagine that warmth touching the places that feel raw. Let it be small and true. To lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace, picture a lifted face like a kind gaze. The look steadies rather than exposes. Peace arrives as a calm that breathes with the body. It is the kind of rest that can exist while burdens still sit nearby. I will speak a short prayer. Now, it is not formal. It is a small sending of care. I place the name of the tired one before the line. I speak this blessing into that place. May you be kept through the night. May your breath find rhythm. May small mercies gather around the edges of sleep. May peace move slowly into the bone. May tomorrow arrive with gentler steps. If you hold worry tonight, hand one small piece of it to this blessing. Name it in a single quiet thought. Place it in the palm of grace. Let the thought be tiny. Like a pebble. Let the blessing be the river that carries it a short way. You do not have to solve everything at once. The act of handing over is enough for now. If you are weary and cannot sleep, accept this rest can be present even while awake. Rest is not only the absence of motion, it is the company of something steady. Sit with that company. Let the presence be like a blanket. It does not change the weather. It changes how the body feels the cold. I will repeat the blessing one more time, slowly and simply, so it can be carried inward. Say the words quietly with me if that helps. Think them like a short breath prayer. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Pause with the last line a moment longer. Let the sound hang like a small lamp. Let it warm the chest. Feel the ribs soften. Notice a tiny room open in the mind where anxiety used to press. This opening is small. It is enough. I will leave a brief silence now. Use it to settle whatever remains restless. Keep breathing slowly. Let the out-breath be longer than the in. If tears come, let them. If calm arrives, receive it. Both are ways the heart moves toward rest. Silence for gentle settling. Now a few final, practical words. Said quietly and simply. Set the phone aside. Dim the lamp. Make the room cool enough that the body can settle. A small blanket over the knees helps. If a hand wants to rest on the chest, let it stay. The warmth of that contact reassures the nervous system. Breathe in patience. Breathe out the need to fix. Before the eyes close, think of one small kindness from the day. It may be a neighbor's text, a cup of warm tea, a quiet moment outside. Hold that memory for one breath. Let gratitude be a small anchor. Gratitude does not deny pain. It simply adds a gentle light beside it. As the night deepens, you may revisit these lines. Return to the blessing when the mind wanders. Repeat the phrases slowly. Let them be a rope to hold on to in the dark. No proof is required. The promise is patient. It waits without demanding. I will stay in a low voice for a little while longer. If sleep comes, that is a welcome thing. If wakefulness remains, return to the slow breath and the small verse. I will read again when needed. My presence is not urgent. It is simply near. One last short blessing now. Spoken plainly, may you rest in perfect peace. May mercy meet you in small ways. May hope rise with the morning light. And once more, the words of Numbers hold us in their soft frame. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen, if that word fits your night. If it does not, let the sense of the blessing be enough. The blessing does not depend on a response. It waits quietly, like a light left by the bedside. Good night. Sleep if it comes. Rest while you wait. The promise stays. The presence keeps watch. When morning arrives, the small mercies will be there, patient and true,